Welcome to NFL Pub Hub Playoff Edition here on Pub Sports Radio. It is the Divisional Round. Looking back at what happened in the wild card week, it was pretty predictable. In my just straight up picking winners pool, it's 13 legs, and I hit all 6. But I was nervous about betting the wild card, and I said to a couple friends, the only thing I want to bet are the Niners +3 and the Niners money line, which I did. And I was trying not to really bet anything else. The need for action got the best of me, and I did move on the Raiders +6 and Eagles +8.5. Loss. 49ers +3 at -105, and the 49ers money line at +145. Had I waited, I could have got at least 25 cents better by kickoff. I did not wait. 2-2 +0.25 units. And it's unreal that I could be in the black in 10 of the last 11 weeks and not be in the black overall. Capping is a cruel mistress, a fickle mistress. 108 wins, 99 losses, hitting at 52.2%, -1.45 units, ROI -0.70%, average line -111. We have an incredible show for you guys. I love the cappers that we have on our big divisional show. We have Bebenek getting us started. Then Alex Pavone will be rolling with us. Then Pistol Pete, the legend Peter Loshak, will be rocking with us. Jacksonville Zou, Billy Brisbane, Noli Knows making his triumphant return, and Ski Profit closing it out. Want to give a big shout out to the Big Ragoo. He's coming off a 9-1 NFL Pub Hub week +8.05 units. He's battling COVID. It's a second bout with COVID. We're thinking of you, Ragoo. We're sending you as much love and positive energy, healing energy as we can, and just want you to get better as soon as possible. Get you back here for the conference show. Shout out to all the cappers joining us. We got Sammy Culmer in the house. Great to see you, Sammy. Dennis Garcia says the NFL continues to gift precious baby Brady everything he wants. You're gonna get Bebsy riled up. Says, should Green Bay be on upset alert for the second time this year? I'm going broke betting Kansas City over Buffalo. What a game that's going to be. He continues that by saying, I don't believe in Buffalo. I made the game KC -5. Biggest differential I've had in the playoff game. Going broke, trusting the KCC pedigree. There's my guy, B-Ball 619. I had the pleasure of hanging with him at Santa Anita, San Diego Capper. Great guy. There's Joey Oliver, Puzzler, Nuke Worker in the house. Great to see you. Harold Williams, Terry Walker, Coco Bongo, ready to go. Gerald Jones, thank you guys so much for joining us. We have a lot of work to do. We have lots of great cappers. Let's get right to it. Let's bring on your first guest of the evening. He was my co-host all through the regular season, coming to us live from Toronto, Ontario. Oh, Bebsy in the house. Bebenek, how are you, my guy?
Oh, pretty good. Just a minor camera malfunction. Here we are. We're back. Hey, what's happening, baby?
This is exciting stuff. It is very, very exciting stuff. Bebsy, you're coming off a 2-2 weekend yourself. You had the Raiders, Bengals over 49 at -110. Patriots +4 at -103, both losers. You cashed with the Chiefs -11.5, and you cashed with the Rams -4, which justified everything that you said throughout the season about those Cardinals. Do you want to add anything about what went down in Wild Card Week, or should we attack this board?
You know what? I appreciate you. I appreciate you putting that out there, because I looked crazy at one point this season. I looked nuts. People were telling me I was full of shit because of how well the Cardinals were actually playing, and I said they were shit, and they proved that for the last half of the season, and in the first round of the playoffs, they looked hideous. There was a lot of games this weekend that were just horrible. Strike one, NFL, for your first season of an extra team, because let's just say the Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles weren't worth watching. But that's what I have to say. Fuck me, was I dead wrong about the Pats, but dead right about the Rams. So. And the Chiefs that was just a money grab there.
Yes.
But yeah, let's.
That was part of Big Ragoo's huge week. He had Chiefs first half, Chiefs full game, and the team totaled over. And there he is right there. Big Ragoo says, looking forward to working with you guys tonight from the chat. There's Slatsy, Michael Carnegie, Willie the Lump, Alex Ramirez. Let roll. We are going to start, Bebsy, Saturday, January 22nd, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Cincinnati Bengals 10-7, 5-3 on the road at the Tennessee Titans, 12-5, 7-2 at home. We're at Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. 35 Fahrenheit, mostly sunny. 4 miles per hour is the weather. There were some books that were hanging threes. We have 7 different cappers coming on the show, and some of them have tweeted out their action already. Jacksonville Zou was able to find a 3 on Tennessee. We have 3.5s right now, but the juice just at minus 101. It was at plus 103 today at 152, which leads you to believe that maybe a 3 will appear. This total opened up at 47. Sports Interactions hanging at 47.5, but the rest of the books are hanging 47s. Let's move over to where the cash lies in this spot. At this point, we are Wednesday night, 8:06 p.m. Eastern, 17,930 tickets in. 58% of the tickets, 83% of the cash on the Tennessee Titans. Sharp action on the Titans. 74% of tickets, 97% of cash on the over. Let's set the table. The AFC North champion Bengals coming off winning their 4th in 5 games in a somewhat underwhelming 26-19 win over the Raiders in the wild card round. Give them their first playoff victory in 31 years. Joe Burrow, 24-34, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Jamar Chase caught 9 passes for 116 yards. He also ran 3 times for 23 yards. CJ Uzomah looked very good. He's a tight end, big body, catches balls, doesn't miss them, caught 6 passes, 64 yards, and a touchdown. Will the Bengals be able to move the ball easily against Tennessee's bottom 10 pass defense? That is a huge question in the game because we know this. Joe Mixon will have a tough time running against the Titans' number 2 ranked run defense. Titans allowed just 3.9 yards per rush. Joe Mixon ran 17 times for 48 yards, caught 4 passes for 28 yards against the Raiders. What's he going to be able to do here against the Titans? The Bengals ranked 5th in the NFL in points per play during the regular season. What are they going to do to these Titans in Nashville? Logan Wilson was back healthy and patrolling the middle of the field. He finished with 12 tackles. Jermaine Pratt had 9 tackles and interceptions. Sam Hubbard, B.J. Hill, and Trey Hendrickson all had sacks. Defensive tackle Mike Daniels injured his groin the first quarter, did not return. Here are the issues. Larry Ogunjobi carted off early in the 3rd with a foot injury. He's on IR, done for the season. So you lose Ogunjobi. Finished the regular season with 7 sacks, tied for a team high, 12.5 tackles for a loss. Trey Hendrickson out with concussion in the 3rd quarter. He's in concussion protocol. Will he be back? We're going to be dealing with this with Bosa as well in the Niners game right after this. He had 14 sacks this year. If perchance Hendrickson and Ogunjobi aren't on the field, well, you have an enormous problem here for the Bengals backers. They finished that game with just 2 healthy defensive tackles. This offensive line is hurting, and the absence of Riley Reif is significant. Vrabel squad, let's move over to Tennessee. Very impressive in securing the AFC's number 1 seed throughout the playoffs. Tennessee went 6-3 without Derrick Henry. Now get him back for this pivotal playoff game. Henry ran for 937 yards, 10 touchdowns in just 8 games. He also caught 18 passes for 154 yards. The Bengals defense ranks 5th against the run, but has allowed more than 100 rushing yards in 5 of his last 6 games. And Josh Jacobs ran all over them. 6.4 yards per carry. Tennessee will finally have wide receivers A.J. Brown and Julio Jones at full health. Henry, Brown, and Jones all together were only on the field for 120 of the Titans' 1,133 offensive snaps. The defense grew tremendously midseason. They went from allowing 384 yards and 26.8 points per game in the first 6 weeks to just 300 yards and 17.5 points over its final 11 games. And they knew they were going to have to lock up defensively without Derrick Henry. The Titans ranked 12th in defensive DVOA, but they allowed just 20.8 points per game, the 6th fewest in the league. Their secondary has struggled at times. I've already mentioned that. They allowed the 8th most passing yards in the regular season. We've seen this team under Vrabel run to the conference championship, make it all the way to the conference championship, as well as a wild card exit. This is a healthy group. And I tell you what, Bebsy, I'm going to hand it over to you, but I am leaning heavily towards the Tennessee Titans. Take it away, Bebsy.
Look, I like this Cincinnati Bengals team. It's hard not to. It's nice to see the Bengals not be hapless, and look, they had some good years. They had some winning season. winning seasons under our old pal Marv. But look, I think they run out of road here. They're coming up against a Tennessee team that very impressive to lose a star like Derrick Henry and let that galvanize this team and fight out the top seed in the AFC. And now you get yourself a bye in the first round of the playoffs. You get Derrick Henry back, and you've learned to win without him. So now he's not your offense entirely anymore. He's just that absolute beast that can come into the game. I don't think he's going to get his typical workload. There's no chance. But they don't need him to do that anymore. I just think this team will be fired up by his presence. I think this defense, you did mention a soft secondary, and that is a real concern. But they will make Cincinnati one-dimensional because of how good their defensive front is. And I just think this is a better team, top to bottom. They're better coached. They're at home. They're healthier, and this is go time for Tennessee. And Cincy, they're good, and I like them, but they're just not ready to beat this Tennessee Titans team. You're still muted, Jimmy.
Thank you. I agree. Now, when you have Burrow and Chase, we know that they are capable of big plays. We know that We know that Burrow is a winner. It wouldn't completely shock me if they were able to upset the Titans, but I am going to bet against it. How are you moving here in this game, Bebsy? Do you want me to take a look at what the -3 is? It's at -126 right now at Pinnacle. Do you want the 3.5 with no VIG at -101? How are you attacking this game?
I think I am going to take the 3.5 for the simple reason I do think the Titans will control this game. Like I said, they're healthy. They've had some rest. The Bengals, even if they roll out everything, and I do believe, at the very least, I believe Hendrickson will play. And if he doesn't, he's so important to this team. But Burrow's banged up. That defense is very banged up. That line, at the best of times, is suspect. So, listen, the playoffs come down so much to what happens in the trenches. And Tennessee wins that battle on both sides.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Rant says Titans better in the trenches. Gerald Jones said Cincy defensive line cluster injuries. There you have it. Terry Walker liking the over as well. We're going to have 7 cappers talking about this game. So let's move on. But Bebsy has locked in the Titans -3.5 at -101 available at Pinnacle. I will do a little bit of line shopping, but that is where we stand. Let's move on to game 2. Saturday, 8:15 p.m. Eastern. San Francisco 49ers, 10-7, 6-3 on the road at Green Bay Packers, 13-4, 8-0 at home at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. 12 Fahrenheit, basically -10 Celsius. Not that cold. It's actually colder on Sunday. I'm sure Rodgers would have preferred it being played in colder temperatures, but it is cold. 10 miles per hour is the wind. It is not expected to be snowing. It's supposed to snow earlier in the day. We have these Niners opening up at 4.5, not at Pinnacle. At Pinnacle, they opened up at 5.5, but we know 4.5s were available when this line came out. Pinnacle now hanging a 6 at -103. Sports Interaction a 6 at -115 for the Packers. And the only 2 books here on my main page hanging 5.5s is Bet365 and Will Hill. Let's move over to the cash flow in the spot. 19,544 tickets in. 58% of the tickets, 60% of the cash on the Green Bay Packers. Then we have 53% of the tickets, 51% of the cash on the over. That's how it stands right now. Niners coming off their third straight win, an impressive 23-17 road victory over the Cowboys. Jimmy G went 16-25 for 172 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. He's dealing with a sprained right thumb and a sprained right shoulder. He makes mistakes. Blatant mistakes. The 49ers were 7-0 when he doesn't throw an interception this year. Brandon Ayuk continued his ascension. We've been seeing it for the last 6 weeks. 5 catches, 66 yards. Deebo Samuel caught 3 passes for 38 yards, but ran 10 times for 72 yards and a touchdown. Eli Mitchell ran the ball 27 times for 96 yards and a touchdown. The Cowboys were outgained 169-77 on the ground. Green Bay has struggled to stop the run this season, ranking 30th, allowing 4.7 yards per rush. This defense, the Packers have allowed rushes of 10-plus yards on 20 of 85 carries in the last 4 weeks of the regular season, 23% of the time. That was the worst in the NFL. The league average is 11%. The Niners' defense was electric until they lost Nick Bosa to a concussion and Fred Warner to an ankle injury. They still finished with 5 sacks, 14 quarterback hits. Bosa is in concussion protocol, and very little information is coming out. Warner isn't practicing, but he's expected to be good to go. He's expected to play. Emmanuel Mosley was all over the field with 12 tackles. Quan Williams had an interception. The Niners defense held the number 1 offense in the league to 307 yards. Robbie Gould is now the career leader for makes in the playoffs without a miss at 18. 2 of his field goals were from at least 50, 53, and 52 respectively. The Packers are the number 1 seed in the NFC after a 13-4 record, and Rodgers is the favorite to win the MVP after throwing for 4,115 yards, 37 touchdowns, and only 4 interceptions. The Packers... Okay, Ella, I'm in the middle of a show, sweetheart, and I need you to be cool and allow me to do my job, my love. Please, Ella, I know. I'm gonna need you to keep everything together right now, and I'm gonna stay as calm as possible while I tell you this, Ella. Sorry. It's not easy here in Parkdale, but at least there's enough snow to keep the pigeons from fucking on my balcony. Excuse me. The Packers have weapons for Aaron Rodgers to spread the ball around to. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon on the ground and receiving out of the backfield. Devontae Adams, they're expecting Randall Cobb to come back, and Alan Lazard has been spectacular of late. These Packers running backs rushed for 10 or more yards on just 6.9% of 391 carries this season. That is the second worst in the NFL. The 49ers allowed 10-plus yards on carries just 6.8% of the time to running backs as well. They are very good against the run. This Packers team won 5 games in a row before taking a loss to the Lions in a meaningless Week 18 game. This defense hasn't been sharp. This Packers defense has given up 27.3 points per game to its final 7 opponents, but they're getting healthier. And it's dangerous how healthy they're getting. David Bakhtiari returned for the first time in that game against the Lions. Jair Alexander and Zadarius Smith are expected to be back in full force. Alexander hasn't played since Week 4 when he was placed on the IR. The Packers should get back Zadarius Smith, as I mentioned, and Whitney Merciless. This will be a huge boost to a pass rush that already includes Preston Smith and Rashawn Gary. Nobody has beaten the Packers at home this season. Babsy, can the 49ers do it? I tell you what, I don't want to bet on them unless Nick Bosa is in the lineup. Babsy, take it away here, Niners, Packers.
Well, first of all, Warner is expected to play, and I do expect Nick Bosa will play. He seemed more than fine as that, towards the end of that game, they were talking about him. His dad came out. He said, Nick's fine. Obviously, he's still in concussion protocol, and he's got to pass that. But I do believe he plays. Listen, the Green Bay Packers, they're a great football team. I don't think I'm saying anything crazy there. I don't think there's too many people who are going to argue with me. But the Packers also, the last 3 seasons to me, they've had an inflated record by playing, quite frankly, terrible teams in their division. And just in general, this team, as much as I like the Packers and as much as I respect them, I just felt like in recent years with the chips down, they haven't showed up. And look, the Niners squeaked into the playoffs, but over the last half of the season, they were the best team in the NFC. So counting them out the way people have been already in this game, and the fact that it's already up at 6 points seems kind of silly to me. Yes, I understand if Bosa's out, it's probably game over for them. But this team met early on in the season, and San Francisco was winning that game with 37 seconds left on the clock. Rodgers marched down the field. They get a field goal. Packers win, Niners lose. But the Niners at the time had no one at corner. Verrett had gotten injured in week 1. Mosley wasn't back from starting the season on injury. And Ambry Thomas has gotten better and better and better in the last half of the season. He's become a very, very solid starter. So now they actually have a secondary. They have that run game that everybody knows is going to put up yards. And I just think it's too many points to give. 6 is just too many. I still think San Francisco money line's a possible play, but 6 is too many. But really what I want here is the over. Because I believe, look, we know the Packers are going to put up points. They always do. But I think the Niners will as well. And yeah, Jimmy's shoulder, that worries me, and the thumb worries me. But I don't know. The shoulder kind of seemed like an excuse for the way he played in the second half of the game. I don't think it's that serious. I think he will be fine. And look, Shanahan finds ways to protect him all the time. So I do really believe that both of these teams will be able to put up points. And I think that number is more than reasonable enough for me to want to grab the over in this.
Well, let's line shop for that over. Pinnacle hanging at 46.5. All the other books right now at 47. Dennis Garcia also liking the over. I still have these Niners at 60-1 to win the Super Bowl and 30-1 to win the NFC. And now I still hammered away at the Niners money line and the Niners +3 against the Cowboys. This is a little more daunting, but I would like to make moves as well. This total 46.5 to the overs at -112 at Pinnacle. Let's lock you in on that right now. The over 46 for Bebsy at -112. I want to move on the Niners. I imagine so let's go back to what you said about Bosa, just for me and my own knowledge here. Can you go over what his dad said and your feelings on whether he'll be in the lineup?
Again, I think he will play. It's concussion protocol, so you got to pass. But he looked initially like he was out of it, and then shortly thereafter, he looked fine and functional on the sidelines. But his dad came out after the game and said, "Don't worry, Nick's going to be fine." And of course his dad's going to say that. It's not like his dad's going to be like, "Kid's a mess, he'll never play again." But I truly believe with what I saw from him on the sideline, what his dad said after the game, and the overall concern doesn't seem to be there within the organization. So my best bet is that he will end up playing. But again, it's concussion protocol. The guy's got to pass a series of tests to be on the field on Saturday. I do believe he will, but maybe that's the fan in me wishful thinking, because he's a special player. I think it's kind of outrageous that he got snubbed for the All-Pro, but the guy's a beast. They need him if they're going to have any hope to win this game.
Finally, Bebsy, if the Niners were able to win this game, do you not think that correlates with an under, and it means they've run the ball down the Packers' throat?
Not necessarily. I mean, the last time these two met in the playoffs was 2019, and the Niners, all they did was run. Now, mind you, they had Raheem Mostert, and I think he averaged like 7.8 yards a carry that game, and was absolutely dominant and firing up tons of points. But I believe this team can still put up points in bunches. And again, we know Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay can. So listen, 47 is not a huge number.
Okay, there you have it. Bebsy is locked in on the over 46.5 at -112 at Pinnacle. A look that Dennis Garcia agrees with. I expect to move on the Niners here. And I guess if Bosa's announced in, if I was to move on the Niners and not see Bosa lined up on defense, I would just count it as a loss, basically.
What I find interesting about the way all the pundits are talking about San Francisco is before the season started, they were not darlings, but they were considered Super Bowl contenders if they could stay healthy. At this juncture in the season, they've lost 2 players, 3. There's Mostert, Kinlaw, and Verrett, who you'd obviously love to have all 3 of those guys playing this game. But Ambry Thomas has truly been lights out the last few weeks. CeeDee Lamb had 1 catch lining up against him. So he's doing a great job. Mosley has allowed the fewest yards per game in the NFL this year. For perspective, Ramsey had allowed 37 yards a game. Mosley allowed 28 per game. So there's some players on this team, and they're getting help up front. So if they were darlings before the season, not darlings, but if they were considered contenders, and now they're healthy for the first time all year, why are they just getting disrespected? I understand going into Lambeau is very difficult for any team, especially in January. But if there's a team that's built to do it, it's this run-heavy, scrappy San Francisco 49er team.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. If there's a team that is built to do it in the NFC, it's our boys. So I guess I should move on the +6 now with just a regular unit size bet, but not move on the money line until I know Bosa's there. And if that means that the number is going to be worse, so be it. Let's move on to Sunday action. 3:30 p.m. Eastern, Los Angeles Rams 12-5, 7-2 on the road at Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 13-4, 7-1 at home. We're at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. 57 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 9 miles per hour. Man, these games are so exciting. All 4 of them, especially these games on Sunday. These Buccaneers opened up at Pinnacle at -3 at +105. They're now -3 at +108. Earlier today, they were -3 at +110. Will 2.5s be around? They have floated around at some of these books. This total opened at 48 at -114 to the over. It's now -111 to the over, but we have seen Sports Interaction use the over 48.5. So Sports Interaction has moved it a half point. 12,596 tickets in. 44% of the tickets are on the Buccaneers and 65% of the cash is on the Buccaneers. And that has changed in the last 18 hours or so, because earlier the Rams had the higher percentage of the actual cash, and that has changed towards the Buccaneers. 87% of tickets on the over, 98% of cash on the over, and it's not really moving fast to the over. There's Terry Walker saying, love the over. There's our guy, Razor Sharp Picks in the house, says Packers by 1 million. You're welcome. And our Razor Sharp Picks welcomed his son Bryson into the world yesterday. Congratulations, Razor. What a beautiful family you have got rolling. I've got started there with your daughter and your son, and so exciting to see Bryson. 8 pounds, 9 ounces. Bryson, welcome to our world yesterday. Much love to you, Razor Sharp Picks. So Rams coming off a dominant 34-11 home victory over the Cardinals in the wild card. I am wearing a Razor Sharp Picks hat right now as well. Shout out to Razor. They have now won 6 of 7. Stafford was 13-17 for 202 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Wins his first playoff game in 13 years. Cooper Kupp caught 5 passes for 61 yards and a touchdown. Odell Beckham caught 4 passes for 54 yards and a touchdown. Also completed a 40-yard pass, and he looks like a happy football player. A lot of players, you don't need to worry about that shit. Odell Beckham, you do. And he's a happy football player right now. Sony Michel, 13 carries for 58 yards. Cam Akers looked strong in his second game back. 17 carries, 55 yards. He caught that 40-yard pass from Odell Beckham as well, that one catch on the day. Tyler Higbee, for those of you in the player prop market, should be looked at closely. Tampa Bay allowed 92 receptions and a 73% catch rate to tight ends during the regular season. This defense completely locked Kyler Murray down. They finished with 2 sacks, 5 quarterback hits. Von Miller had 6 tackles and a key early sack. David Long Jr. returned them interception for a touchdown. Marquise Copeland also had a touchdown. Eric Weddle got playing time for the Rams. I was very interested to see how much playing time he would get. He ended up playing 34% of the Rams' defensive snaps, and he returned out of retirement, a 6-time Pro Bowler out of retirement after Taylor Rapp was lost to a concussion and Jordan Fuller to a season-ending ankle injury. Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off a dominant 31-15 performance at home over the Eagles on Wild Card Week. They were up 31-0 after 3 quarters. Tom Brady was 29 of 37 for 271 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Mike Evans caught 9 passes for 117 yards and 1 touchdown. Gronk caught 5 passes for 31 yards and a touchdown. Keyshawn Vaughn ran 17 times for 53 yards and a touchdown, caught 2 passes for 9 yards. It was Giovanni Bernard, though. He ran 13 times for 44 yards and caught 5 passes for 39 yards. He played very, very well. And we've always known that he can catch out of the backfield, but he was running as well. This defense looked dominant. They sacked Jalen Hurts twice. They hit him 10 times. Tampa Bay's defense was fortified by the return of the linebackers Levante David, Shaquille Barrett, and Jason Pierre-Paul. They shut down the Eagles' top-ranked rushing offense line, just 95 yards on the ground, 34, which came on the 1 run from Boston Scott. Mike Edwards had 9 tackles, 1 for a loss, and a pick. Shaquille Barrett also had a pick, but the Bucs continued to battle injuries. So we knew Chris Godwin was gone for the year with that torn ACL. They played without Fournette and Ronald Jones. It's the offensive line that we are now very concerned with for them. Right tackle Tristan Wirfs, who's been so good this year, and he's such a key piece. He rolled his ankle in the first half. He tried to come back, visibly unable to put any weight on that right foot. Ryan Jensen, and I apologize for my son in the background. He's sick, and I apologize for the sounds of my family in the background. God damn. Ryan Jensen went down on the next drive, and both are going to play this weekend. Both are not going to be 100%. Both are very key components to this team. The defensive line the Rams' very strong defensive line should be able to take advantage of these injuries to the Buccaneers. Buccaneers gave up 4 sacks against the Eagles. The Eagles had were 29th in sack percentage. If they give up that many sacks to the Philadelphia Eagles, what are they going to give up to the LA Rams? Bebsy, take it away here, Rams, Buccaneers.
Well, listen, it's Tom Brady in the playoffs, but one thing you said is so key is the fact that not only is Tampa dealing with injuries to their star firepower offensive players, but with Jensen and Wirfs ailing, facing the likes of Leonard Floyd, Von Miller, and most importantly, Aaron Donald. Now, what does Tom Brady hate the most? It's pressure up the middle in his face. Who delivers more pressure up the middle in people's face than Aaron Donald? So if Aaron Donald has an edge over an injured Ryan Jensen, that's going to spell some trouble. There's not as many stars here to bail them out right now, but it's Tom. Tom's going to get the ball out quick. We know he's going to do that. Rams side of the ball, look, they were phenomenal last weekend, but Arizona was terrible. Kyler Murray just ran around scared. Cliff Kingsbury showed exactly what kind of coach he is, and that's a guy who's simply not prepared for a well-balanced opponent. Listen, this guy's overrated. He's not a good coach. As a Niners fan, I'd love for him to stay in Arizona forever. I flip-flop on this game, and I'm not sure which team will come on. I understand why people don't have trust in Stafford, and I don't either. But there is so much talent on that team, and Akers looks like he's shot out of a cannon right now. The injuries to Tampa, it's just this back and forth. If I was to bet, I would take Los Angeles and the points because I think they could outright win this game. So I think giving them many points at all is too much. But that's not my look in this. My look is the over because I do, as good as this Rams defense is, and they will be great, I think the Rams can put up points against this Tampa. And I just think Tom's going to respond like it's Tom Brady. He's going to do it. So I think this ends up being a very high-scoring affair, even though we know the strength of the Rams comes from that defensive prowess. But I just feel like this winds up being a high-scoring game.
The over 48 is available right now at Pinnacle. As I said, some books have moved it to 48.5, but Pinnacle still hanging at 48. So let's get you that over 48 at minus 111 for Bebsy in Rams Buccaneers. Initially, I was thinking that the Buccaneers could still take care of business. I'm starting to get cold feet and look forward to hear all the analysis that we're going to have today on this show. There we go. We move on to the fourth and final game here, and then we move on to Alex Pavone coming to us live from New York next. 6:30 p.m. Eastern, Buffalo Bills, 11-6, 5-3 on the road at Kansas City Chiefs, 12-5, 7-2 at home at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. I can't wait to watch this football game. 40 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 4 miles per hour is the wind. This total opened up at 55, and interestingly enough, Pinnacle's dropped to the point to 54. Kansas City opening up as 2.5-point favorites. They're still 2.5 at Pinnacle, but a lot of other books have moved it to 2 or 1.5. Let's move over to the cash flow. We have 16,001 tickets in. 36% of the tickets are on the Bills, but 80% of the cash is on the Bills. Big bets have been moved on the Bills. Then you have 76% of tickets and 98% cash on the over. Yet Pinnacle has dropped to the point. Very, very, very interesting. Rematch of last year's AFC Championship game in which the Chiefs won 38-24. In Week 5 this year, the Bills rolled into Arrowhead and defeated them easily, 38-20. I'm going to talk about that game from a defensive Spagnuolo standpoint in a little bit, but let's keep rolling here with the Bills. They come in off a dominant 47-17 beatdown of the Patriots. And this isn't in my notes, but I can't help but think about when the Cowboys dominated Washington and came back and lost to Arizona. They played perfect football against their biggest rival. And now they've got to do it again at Arrowhead. And that's not going to be easy. And look, I'm not sitting here saying I'm taking the Chiefs. I just think this is a very difficult game to cap, and I can't wait to cap it with you guys. Buffalo became the first NFL team in the Super Bowl era to score on each of its 7 possessions. Score a touchdown in each of its 7 possessions that didn't end with a kneel down. Allen was so efficient, 480 yards on 51 snaps. Josh Allen, 21-25, 308 yards, 5 touchdowns, also ran 6 times for 66 yards. Dawson Knox had 5 receptions for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. Shout out to Clint, star of the Die Hard MMA podcast, who gave that as a spot, Dawson Knox touchdown. I believe he got it at plus 210 as well. Stephon Diggs had 3 receptions for 60 yards. Devin Singletary ran 16 times for 81 yards, 2 touchdowns, and caught 3 passes for 13 yards. Their defense completely shut down the Pats. They put up 3 sacks, 5 quarterback hits. Micah Hyde and Levi Wallace each had interceptions. The Bills... Now, this is a very interesting stat, and I don't know exactly what to do with it. But the Bills were 0-4 when the game was within 7 points at the 2-minute warning this year. All their wins came by enormous margin. They had the best point differential in the league at plus 194. It's just a very interesting piece because you can imagine that this game will be within 7 points of the 2-minute warning. Chiefs coming off an easy 42-21 win at home over the Steelers on wildcard weekend. Patrick Mahomes, 30 of 39 for 404 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, and ran 3 times for 29 yards. Travis Kelce caught 5 passes for 108 yards in the touchdown, even threw for a 2-yard touchdown. Demarcus Robinson caught 4 passes for 76 yards. Tyreek Hill, 5 catches for 57 yards and a touchdown. And Jerick McKinnon looked really good. He ran 12 times for 61 yards, caught 6 passes for 81 yards and a touchdown. Now, the defense didn't have to do much to slow down Big Ben. He does that on his own. Chiefs had 2 sacks and 4 quarterback hits. Roethlisberger was 5 of 14 for 24 yards in the first half. Pittsburgh had 55 yards of total offense. Let's go back to that Week 5 loss. Spagnuolo didn't blitz Allen enough in that loss. You can imagine that he's going to do that a lot more. Now, when Allen was blitzed this year, he was 24th in completion rate at 45.4% and 14th in quarterback rating at 74. On the other hand, the Bills had 2 high safeties against the Chiefs, and it clearly bothered Mahomes. Everybody saw the film. Everybody started doing that against the Chiefs and Mahomes. And Mahomes is now much more comfortable handling the 2 high safeties. Kansas City secondary is a big problem They allowed Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert to combine for 651 passing yards and 6 touchdowns. Now, Melvin Ingram changes the front seven, changes that defensive line enormously. And we saw the difference that he makes because he goes in the middle and Jones can then go on the outside, and that's where he's most effective. Chiefs have hit overs in 6 straight games, and the Bills have hit over in 5 of their last 7 games on the road. Find it very interesting that Pinnacle has dropped this a point. Bebsy, here you go. The final playoff game on the docket, Bills Chiefs. What a beauty this is going to be. Take it away.
Well, listen, I said this before the show, in that a lot of what I had said this year did end up coming true. My record was absolute dog shit. We know that. But a lot of what I had said at the start of the year has taken a while and then come true. And the Bills in the first round of the playoffs, look, I'm not impressed about beating a rookie quarterback in the first round of the playoffs. I'm impressed at absolutely dominating a Bill Belichick defense. On the other side of the ball, look, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. Been to the Super Bowl 2 seasons in a row. Andy Reid's an excellent coach. They're playing at Arrowhead, which is an incredibly difficult place to play in at the best of times. But Kansas City has been a little bit off all year. And even last week, playing the lowly Steelers, midway through the second quarter, they were still losing to this horrendous Steelers team. And the only reason that they weren't losing by more is because they were facing Big Ben. You will not get the same grace period from this Buffalo offense. So Kansas City has to start on time offensively to do this. And frankly, they didn't start on time for the season. They didn't start on time last week. There's just something not quite right about them. And as you mentioned, their secondary is very suspect. And I just don't know if they have the firepower, the juice, the want right now to beat this Buffalo Bills team. I really believe that Buffalo is just a fired up, nasty, well-balanced team. And I'm moving on Buffalo here. You're muted.
Moving on, Buffalo. Would you prefer the points in this situation, or would you like to take the plus money on the money line?
I think I'm going to move on the plus money on the money line here. I just think this is Bills upset time.
Well, we have a plus 115 available at Pinnacle, and I will make sure that is the best available. But let's hook you up with the Bills. What a spectacular game this is going to be, and I can't wait to hear all the different cappers talk about it. But Bebsy is locked in. He's on the Bills at plus 115. Bebsy, let's review your action. You're on the Bills plus 115. You're on the Rams Buccaneers over 48 at minus 111. 49ers Packers over 46.5 at minus 112. And the Titans minus 3.5 at minus 101. Gerald Jones says it's going to be a classic. My line, KC minus 3.5, but Buffalo peaking, plus have Bills Super Bowl futures from September. Dennis Garcia says Buffalo better on the neutral field, or do we just forget about home field? And it is a dangerous home field in Arrowhead. Bebsy, thank you for sharing your hard work with us. We will see you for the conference championships, my man. Any last words for the great cappers supporting the show?
Oh, as always, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for joining us. And let's hope I'm right, because we will see for the NFC or the AFC championship, rather, we will see a rematch of the Music City Miracle.
Ooh, that was actually the only time I was happy that the Bills lost after not starting Flutie in that spot.
Kick move deserved to lose.
Yeah, exactly. There you have it, Bebsy. Thank you for rolling with us, my man, and have a big, big weekend. There he is, Rob Bebenek in the house. We go right from Rob Bebenek to New York City with Alex Pavone in the house. Alex, my man, how are you?
Jimmy, what is going on? Always good to follow the Bebs. Bebsy's riding the dogs this week, ain't he? He's on the dog sled. He's got it going on. It looks it. It's when I tuned in, he was on the dog sled, but I could be tripping. What's going on? How are you? Everything's
I'm
good there?
I'm okay. I'm better from COVID. My son Carter's still sick.
Oh,
And
that's not
so,
good.
it's a bit of a battle. Ella got to go to school today for the first time in school, learning finally.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it's going from LA to this Parkdale shithole. It's not exactly how I want to live the rest of my life. But let's get to football. Let's
Not
get to
important.
football. Let's get to football. So, Alex, my intros are already locked in. Now we're going to have capper after capper after capper break down how they see these big games going. And Alex Pavone, we start with this very big Bengals Titans game that kicks off all of the playoffs. Take it away. Cincinnati Bengals, Tennessee Titans. What move are you making?
Off the bat, this weekend is extremely difficult. This has been the most difficult year, and it's I can't believe it's getting harder, honestly. Last week, not so great for me. But the picks I was real confident in did deliver. So hopefully that's the case again this week, and the ones I'm not so confident with also deliver. So the Titans here at 3.5, it looks like they're getting the money right now from, I mean, it's early in the week, so it's Wednesday, their game Saturday. So right now they're getting all the money. And it's sharp and public. I think it is. I think it's more sharp than public. I feel from talking to people who, are casually betting, because New York now is legal gambling. So it's just hilarious watching people acquire this gambling itch, and they've known I've gambled my whole life. So they're always coming up to me and they're like, what do you think of Hunter Henry? Is he going to get a touchdown? I'm like, bro, get away from me. Your eyeballs are all over the place. Is this how I look when I'm talking about gambling? It's frightening. But I think in terms of this game, I think that Tennessee has been disrespected all year. When you look at the AFC, you look at the Bills, you look at the Chiefs as contenders, and the Titans did nothing but win games hurt. They lost Henry, they lost AJ Brown, they lost all these guys, and they still got disrespected and won the 1 seed. And people, I'm still hearing people go, oh, the Titans aren't a real 1 seed. Why not? I mean, Vrabel's a great coach. He is an absolute unbelievable coach. He has these guys always rallying and ready to play. I think Cincinnati, I don't like to, assume things, but them winning last week, I think was good enough. I personally believe they won. They got the monkey off their back. They won that home game. Joe Burrow coming off that devastating knee injury this year, he gets a playoff win. It's a step up in class. The Titans are rested. They want to prove that they are a legit number 1 seed, and I believe they are. They got Derrick Henry. Is he back? Is he going to be back? He is. I mean, 3.5 here. I feel like the public and will sort of jump on Cincy towards the latter end of the week. I just don't see Cincinnati, who barely hung on against the Raiders team, who is not even in the same league as the Tennessee Titans. So give me Tennessee minus 3.5. I really like them. I think they're going to be focused and just coming into this game gangbuster style. Like Vrabel always has them. He always has them ready to go. And I think Cincinnati last week, that was not that they're not going to come in here and play hard, but they're content, I should say, with getting that win at home, and now they're playing just a whole better team.
I think that's a very sound breakdown. And Terry Walker saying you make a great point about Tennessee untouchable. Jay says since he playing with the house money, yeah,
they are playing with house money. You can't argue that, but so were the Raiders last week, and that's but I understand.
Pavone's on the board. Titans minus 3.5, minus 101 low vig over at Pinnacle. Let's move on to the next game. Huge game at Lambeau Field. 49ers, Packers. I can't wait to hear your take on this bad boy. Take it away.
Look, this is tough because of all the injuries, right? If everybody's healthy, I like the Niners in this spot. I'm not saying I know anybody, but I've heard that Jimmy G he's gonna go. They're regardless of the pain he's in, they're gonna shoot him up with that stuff. They're not concerned about Jimmy G in the future. They got Trey Lance for the upcoming years, and they're gonna ride Jimmy till the wheels fall off. So it's not like they're gonna sit back and go, they're gonna have caution here with Jimmy. He's gonna play, and he's gonna be as close to 100% as he can be with the injuries he's dealing with. Bosa, Warner probably will play too. Obviously you're gonna need both these guys. They're awesome. They're unbelievable players. Green Bay, oh my God, I've rode against these guys so many times during the year, and it bit me in the ass. They're obviously the best team in football. I think right now it's a little too many points. I know that they're coming off a bye week, but the last 6 weeks, what competitive game has Green Bay really played? I know it's not their fault. You got to play whoever is in front of you. But I think off the top of my head, the last time they were in a competitive game against a good football team was that Thanksgiving weekend against the LA Rams. So now they're in a very, very obviously competitive game here in the divisional round. I know it's at Lambeau, but it's just, I feel like it's just too many points for this Niner team. And Beb's made a lot of great points about how the Niners can run the football, and that could be a problem against the Packers, because I truly feel, I know everybody's been saying that the Packers defense is real good this year, and they are, but I still think that they're a little overrated. You play the Vikings twice, one time without Kirk Cousins. You play the Bears twice. You play the Lions twice. That's going to inflate your stats as a defense. And I just think 6 is too many points. I'm not saying the Packers are going to lose. I'm just saying the Niners, they could hang around. They could hang around. And there's something about all this like legalized gambling now. And I think I'm overthinking it too much sometimes, Jimmy. I don't know if you're having this problem, but I feel like 6 to me is like, in my head, I'm like, 6 is for teaser protections because they're going to drop it to a pick 'em, and then they're going to bring the Bills up to 7.5. Like I'm thinking like it's out of my control. I don't know why I'm thinking like that, but in this case, I think it's too many points. I think the Niners got the talent, and they can play bully ball and keep it very close. I could see them going down at half too, the Packers. I could see them not being they're going to be ready, but it's just a level of competition when it's not there for 7 weeks. It's a different story. I could be wrong. This is just an opinion. So,
well, look, I am, jaded a bit because I'm a Niners fan, and I need Bosa in the lineup. I'm not going to get a +6 when Bosa's announced in. I think it's worth it right now, especially after what I won last week on the Niners. I think it's worth it here to take the Niners at this 6 right now. Now, we know the Packers D hasn't been very good. They're getting reinforcements, and I don't know if they're going to be at 100% or ready to take 90% of the snaps, but they're getting some real special players back. I think the 49ers are built to give the Packers a tough game. And I watched the Packers play a lot of underwhelming football. That game against the Browns was really underwhelming. And maybe that's in my head a little bit, but we can give you the Niners right now +6. There's +6s available for you. Pinnacle hanging the +6 at -108. Is that what you want, Alex?
Lock me in there.
+6 for Pavi at -108. Pavi, we move on to Sunday action. Rams, Buccaneers. I already broke this game down. Not going to do it again. We want to hear your take on it. But the issues right now are Wirfs and Jensen on the offensive line. More injuries that the Buccaneers are dealing with. They have the right man for the job, Tom Brady. How are you betting this one?
I agree with you, because I initially was leaning to the Bucs too, and then I did see that money shift towards the Bucs in the last 4 hours or something.
It looks like that, yeah.
I was confused. I was like, wow, a lot of people are on the Bucs, and the public money is on, or a lot of the public earlier was on the Rams, but then I saw it shift to the Bucs, and I firmly believe people are going to ride Tom Brady, as we get closer to the game on Sunday. But the injuries are concerning. Like that Rams defensive line is real good. You saw Von Miller play play a really good game against the Cardinals the other day. Like now that they were good, and then they added Von Miller, where you're like, oh, what are you gonna get from Von? Is he hurt and is he old? But he's starting to come into it a little bit. The defense is real good. I just think this is a lot of injuries for Tampa. They came into this playoffs without Fournette. Is he playing? Is Leonard Fournette playing? I know he's not going to be 100% if he is.
We haven't had the confirmation on Fournette at this point.
And Godwin's out, right?
Godwin's done for the year.
Gone. You know, now you look at Evans, who's tremendous, but he's gonna be, you know, it's a wash now with Ramsey.
Well, Jalen Ramsey's really had his number, so you're.
I mean,
you're right
absolutely. There. So now not just the offensive line woes. You're looking at some skill players that they're a little behind the 8 ball now without Fournette and without Godwin, right? That really leaves you Gronk, and you know this defense is real good. I want to say something. A lot of people love the over in this game, and I don't know why. I lean under. I'm not going to put it in, but I just think these two defenses. I know the Rams are rolling right now, but I think these two defenses could really. It's going to be like a bit of a defensive struggle. So I'm not going to lock that in because I do like the Rams. I really do. I think they're clicking right now. Stafford obviously scares me. You've seen it over the years. A lot of unnecessary turnovers, and that could turn the game. Last year it happened. In my opinion, if Drew Brees doesn't throw 3 picks, they're going to the Super Bowl. So it could happen again this year. Stafford could make some critical errors, and next thing you know, Tom Brady's got the ball with 2 minutes left, and he's going into. We've seen that a trillion times. So obviously, not going to be shocked if the Bucs win here. I just think the injuries are starting to mount up on the offensive line. That's the last thing you need when you're going against this dominating Aaron Donald. The guy's the best defensive player in football. He might be the best football player overall. And it just looks like that offense is starting to go. Odell Beckham's looking real good. Akers is back. They smacked the Cardinals around last week. Smacked them around last week. I think they're getting healthy, confident, and you never want to ride against Brady, but I'm on the Rams at +3.
The Rams at +3. I like the breakdown. It makes a ton of sense here, Pavi. Let's lock you in. We have the Rams available. That's too much juice over there. +3 -120.
Yeah, don't juice me, Jim.
Yeah, I'm going to line shop for you while you break down this Bills Chiefs spot. I know you spent a lot of your life here, born and raised in the sticks, and the Bills are a big part of your youth. And now they could be the best team in the AFC. Please break down this Bills Chiefs spot. I can't wait to hear your breakdown.
What kind of an animal is Rob Bebenick to talk about the Music City Miracle and then log off? Why check to Dyson? And then he's like, I'll see you later. Get bent, Robbie Bebenick, you sick man. Look, I saw it at 1.5. Are there 1.5s available? I don't know.
There are 1.5s available, and the Pinnacle's still hanging at 2.5 with no fear.
I don't want to. Every time I'm about to say Chiefs, a box of Flutie Flakes pops into my head. I can't. I think I have to take the Chiefs, man. The Bills are playing. The Bills were put on a clinic last week. I just think we not overestimated the Pats, but Mac Jones is a rookie quarterback going on the road playing his first playoff game. I mean, the Bills got a roll early, big turnover. It was 7-0, big turnover in the end zone. They just rolled. They rolled, and they got the confidence. And then New England doesn't have that offense to get back into that game, and they crushed them. And I was happy because I said the Bills by 20. I wish I had the cojones to put it in. I didn't, but the Bills now they're playing the Chiefs, and they beat the Chiefs already, right? At home.
Soundly.
Soundly. Okay, it was soundly, but
38-20.
Early in the season, the Chiefs were still trying to figure out. The Chiefs are so good that they know that they could get behind in the season and still win that division handily. Like I believe they went for it on like 4th and like 8 on their own 40 or something like that. I might be incorrect on exactly what it was, but it was like early in the game. They were going for it on 4th down. Like they were taking chances and trying to figure out who they were as a football team at that point of the season. So to look at that game and go, oh yeah, they beat them then, they're going to beat them now. Like, I don't know if that's a fair assessment, but I just think that this is just too many people jumping on the Bills and me being a contrarian. This is my contrarian pick. And it's just, if you're going to just jump on the Bills, go, oh, the Bills are going to beat this team. And I'm like, but it's the Chiefs. It's a team that's been in the Super Bowl 2 years in a row, won the Super Bowl, lost last year. And they had a lot of offensive line injuries is one of the reasons that they didn't repeat as champions, but they look healthy. The defense looks good. I know Buffalo, this is a close game. Obviously the line's 2.5 and then it went down to 1.5. And now it's, it's fluctuating between 2.5 and 1.5. Obviously the books know this is going to be a close game. But I just feel like the Bills are the Chiefs are still unreal. They're still an unbelievable team, and White is not playing, correct?
No, Trey White done.
That's a huge loss. That's a huge loss. That guy is a terrific player in the secondary, and obviously we know the weapons. And who's this running back that the Chiefs have? That this kid's come out of he's come out of nowhere.
Jerick McKinnon.
He's explosive. Like, he's another weapon where you're like, oh my God. It didn't just look last week like they flipped the switch on the Steelers. They're like, okay, no more joking around. And boom. And there was 21 points in 3 minutes. I'm not saying that, the Bills could upset them for sure, but I'm going to take a healthy Chiefs team that's rolling right now at essentially a pick 'em. At 1.5, I'm going to take the Chiefs. Also, again, back to me overthinking stuff. I feel like the Bills are going to be in a lot of teasers, especially at 2.5, of course, but at 1.5, teased up to 7.5. I could see a lot of people teasing the pack down, Bills up. That's what I think, and I could also see the Chiefs winning by 10. So it's going to be I wouldn't roll against the Chiefs right now. I just think their defense is playing real well, and at a pick 'em, I'm taking Mahomes. So
I completely get it. For me, it comes down to I cannot back a team a week after they played perfect football at home against their biggest rival. I can't. I just can't.
Yeah, I get it, man. They're people are high on the Bills, and that the confidence they have in the Bills, I get, but you got to look at who they're playing on the other side of the football. It's the Chiefs. It's still the Chiefs. You're talking like they're playing, a middle of the pack team. Oh yeah, they're gonna win. They're going to the AFC Championship. It's the Chiefs, buddy. Sorry.
It wouldn't surprise me if we see -1s and pick'ems when it comes to kickoff. In saying that, I don't know if I can take the Chiefs, but
no, I get it.
I'm not going to bet the Bills after playing perfect football. I just can't do it. I can't do it.
A lot of things are going to change for me, probably by Sunday or Saturday and Sunday. But right now, these are my looks, and I'm going to put them in. I'm not going to come on the show and not bet everything. I mean, that would just be foolish. Look at these curtains, Jimmy, for Christ's sakes.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
Thank you.
They're absolutely gorgeous. There you have it from Alex Pavone. Titans -3.5, -101. The Niners +6 at -108. The Rams +3, and I can only get you a -118. and I searched. I could only get the 2 cents off that juice. That's all the best I could do. And the Chiefs -1.5 at -110. That is available at Will Hill. I'd be curious to see what Will Hill has on that. No, they're still at -120 as well, which seems to be the market right there. Dennis Garcia says, since White got hurt, Buffalo's faced New England 3 times, Jets, Panthers, Falcons, and Bucks. Only one of those teams has an elite quarterback, and he put up 33 points on the Bills defense. God, it's going to be a great game. Pavi, so great to have you back in action. Thank you so much for rolling with us. Follow our guy on Twitter at Mr. Alex Pavone. Where are you next in New York? Where can our cappers that are in the New York area see you?
I'm dropping a new podcast, not sports related. We might talk about some sports, but it's called Dear Buddies. Comes out this week. It's going to be a good time. Dear Buddies. And Jim, I'm glad you're good and you're healthy, and it's always good to talk to you. And thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you, my man. There you have it. Alex Pavone coming to us from Queens, New York. One borough to another. We head over to Brooklyn, and we bring on a legend. Please welcome to the show, Pistol Pete Loshak in the house.
How's it going, Jimmy the Bag, man? This is so tough. You know what I'm like? If you're a rock music legend and you drop a few great albums, you can coast the rest of your life. If you're a freaking sports betting legend and you have 2 bad weeks, it's like, who is this guy? Get him the hell off this video. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. The pressure never ends. What have you done for me lately? Legend. Give me 2 weeks in a row. We'll talk legend. You know what I'm saying? It's just whatever you did 5 years ago means 0. Right, Jim?
Look, I know, and I'm trying so hard to stay in my chair right now. Buccaneers, Bucks first quarter -2. Bucks first half -4. Bucks team total first half over 57.5. Spurs first quarter -2. So I'm going to open up the day.
Really? Very, very nice, Jimmy the Bag.
Ooh, but I know this is a football show. It just feels so good. Okay, Pete, we are so excited to have you back in action. And
I'll do my best here. I'm sure I'm going to say all the same shit everyone else has said, but I'll chip in, I'll chime in. Whatever you need, I'll do it for you, Jimmy the Bag, and all the low baggers out there. Shout out to everyone.
Well, you have been excellent on this show, and your stats don't really give you justice for how good you have been. I'm going to pull it up right here, right now. You are 6-5 on the show. You should be 8-3 though, because you went 2-1, 2-1, 2-1 on your first 3 shows. You were sitting 6-3. Then you took on, and it was back on week 15. You took the Steelers first half -107. They won the full game. They didn't cash first half, but they cashed the full game. Then you took the Bengals team total over 20.5. They didn't cash that team total, but they won. They won outright. So it's unfortunate that you went 0-2. You should be 8-3. You should be on top of the leaderboard. You've been very good. Let's get right to work here. Can't wait to hear your takes on all of these games. I can't believe you're hammering all of these games. Now, you may not give out official picks, and you don't have to. But let's start with Cincinnati Bengals. Tennessee.
And I will say, just to most of the official picks that I would give out are player props, which I haven't been able. I like to give out player props when there's a big market for it. With Pinnacle hanging them in everyone, Bet Online, and all those places. And I haven't seen any of the player props listed yet that I'm looking for.
Can I come in quickly on that? Yeah, if you tweet out any player prop that you've talked about here on the show later in the week, that will count. We'll make it official and we'll celebrate it.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Okay.
Take it away, my man.
Bengals. Okay, Tennessee. I'm assuming that all of you, because you consort with relatively smart handicappers here on this show and in your life, Jimmy the Bag, and so I'm assuming that they're going to say roughly what I'm going to say here, which is I will give an official play. I'm going to take Tennessee here. I'll list all the reasons that I'm sure they've all listed. Derrick Henry coming back is huge, right? Beginning of the year, Tennessee was very impressive. And then when he went down, statistically, they took a big dive. Now he's coming back. Of course, the injuries on the Bengals defensive line are huge. The Bengals obviously awesome. They could win this game outright, but what are the chances that happens? I'm not exactly sure that they are that the market is giving Tennessee enough credit here. Big home road discrepancy favoring Tennessee as well. Cincinnati's they're a young team, and their offense was significantly above average at home, significantly below average on the road. Tennessee's defense a little bit below average on the road, significantly above average at home. So there's that. The Titans offensive line getting healthier and better right now. Sacks are down, rushing yardage is up. And also, the head coach is coaching matters a lot. I think it's still one of the significantly undervalued factors in football, and the Titans coach with extra time to prepare has a great record since he joined 2018. The Titans are 8-0 straight up with more than a week of rest. Now, those were all regular season games, of course, and this is a playoff game. So, but that's just one more factor that makes me like Tennessee here. They are kind of an overvalued number one seed, relatively weak number one seed. I think we can all agree with that, but it's just not a great spot, I think, for Cincinnati. Obviously, Cincinnati legitimately awesome offensively, and maybe to hedge it out, if you want to take like a chase over receiving yardage prop to guard against an offensive explosion from Cincinnati and an outright win, I wouldn't necessarily argue against that. But I'm definitely liking Tennessee here for a lot of different reasons. They also have a better resume on the year. If you look at their strength of schedule, who they beat, how it all shook out, I think we would all agree that Tennessee has a better resume coming into this game. Cincinnati play a relatively small, soft schedule, I think. Add it all up, and I'm going to take Tennessee, and I think that I'm guessing that most of the people you've spoken to would agree with that. And they said the same thing, right? Or no?
They all have. Everybody has at this point. Now, all 7 cappers are talking about this game, so we'll see how it ends up banging out. But I love hearing this. Now, how are you going to bet it, Peter? You're going to take the -3.5 with almost no vig? Are you going to pay for the 3?
I don't know. At Pinnacle, it's 3 -126. The money line -178. All right, you can throw it on my record. Whatever. -3, -126. Take that one, I guess. I don't know, man. Give me the bag. Cincinnati's a great team. Explosive offensively. Ton of weapons. Burrow's legit. What do you want me to say? I don't know. Give me the bag.
I like it. I like everything. There you go. Rangers tie it up. There you go.
Let me ask you something, Jimmy the Bag. Any of the people in the comments section, are they saying, watch out for the Bengals? They might win. You guys are all on the wrong side. Have you heard anyone say they like the Bengals?
Not yet. And I think that makes me nervous, obviously.
Right. We've all seen Let It Ride. We all saw that movie, Jimmy the Bag. You know what I'm saying? This is scary, isn't it?
You're right. It is scary. But I do think that what happened to the Bengals and possibly to the Niners, we expect Warner to be back. We think Bosa will be back. But for the Bengals, losing Ogunjobi, there's 7 sacks and a team-high 12.5 tackles for a loss. Gone. Then you have Trey Hendrickson in concussion protocol. There's 14 sacks. That's just – we already knew that they had the softest or the weakest offensive line in the playoffs. Now Burrow is a winner, and that makes things difficult to cap.
Sure.
So, and there's Harold Williams says, I am leaning Bengals. And Dan Kelly says, I think that Joe Burrow leads a fourth quarter comeback. That's really? That's well within what he is capable of. But we have Pistol Pete Loshak on the board. Titans -3 at -126. Now we move on to the 49ers.
Yeah, I will say one other thing. Sorry, just that the Bengals, were one of the worst in the league in first quarter DVOA, and the Titans, so the Titans might be a good play too. I don't know. Maybe in the first quarter or the first half. Dan Kelly might be right there. The Bengals were notoriously slow starters during the year.
Yeah, moving on the Titans early is a very interesting way of handling it. I still have made no moves yet in the divisional round, but let's move on to the Niners. We got Nutflush Allen in the chat. He gave me this Niners hat when I was in LA. This is from the 1995 Super Bowl against the Chargers. Pete.
Very nice.
And you know that I've got 60-1 on the Super Bowl and 30-1 on the NFC. Am I in grave danger at Lambeau here on Saturday night?
I mean, I think the issue. I mean, it's not clear what's going to happen here. I think it's pretty clear that that Jimmy G's hand injuries are bothering him. He says they're bothering him. His second half was not good in the last game, and in general, going into cold weather can be a little bit of an overvalued factor. But it's going to be freezing there. He's never thrown a pass in cold weather. I saw that somewhere on Twitter, and he's got this hand injury. You know what I mean? Which is bothering him, according to him and according to the stats. So, so that's not good. And, when I look at this one, I'm thinking don't overthink it. Bet rushing props for the Niners and passing props for the Packers. The Niners have a weak secondary. They're particularly bad against opposing teams' top receivers. So, it might be the most obvious player prop in the world. But, Adams, receptions and or yards over might be good plays, although I haven't seen what the actual numbers are there. And San Francisco, I think that, again, kind of obvious, but maybe Kittle props over. Tight end for San Francisco, yardage and or receptions. Green Bay, not good against opposing tight ends all year long. You have to assume that the game plan is going to involve a lot of short passing. Kittle might have a monster game. I would expect that. It's kind of an obvious analysis. I'm sure lots of other people have said that, but I don't have a number here for his yardage prop, but I'd be leaning over there. And San Francisco, weak spot, weak in the secondary. And, so maybe, I'm a little bit careful about quarterback props, unless we're talking about like touchdowns or interceptions. But yeah, Devontae Adams yardage prop over. We'll see what it is. And that's what I'd be leaning here. I'd be leaning Kittle over yardage, even though I don't have a number right now, and in general leaning towards rushing props over for the Niners and passing props over for the Packers. That's a super obvious way of looking at this game. I'm sure everyone else sees the same thing, but what do you want from me, Jimmy the Bag? That's my take on it.
I like it, and I'll be very curious to see what you get to the window with. We will be following you on Twitter. That's at P Loshak, and I will retweet anything that you put out. Tag me and put NFL Pub Hub as a part of it.
It's San Francisco is sort of constructed to play well against the Packers. What they say, like run games and defenses tend to travel, especially in cold weather. That's how they're built. The injury to Garoppolo is a problem, but if the backup has to come in, that number 3 pick, who knows what's going to happen? So I'd be very careful about laying too many points, with the Packers, and certainly not, on the money line. So it's I'm definitely looking at player props here, because I think that the game plans for both teams are going to be pretty obvious, and the player props are bettable betting into those game plans.
I love it. We have Pistol Pete Loshak here on NFL Pub Hub Playoff Edition, and we move on to Sunday action. Matt Stafford, fresh off his first playoff win in 13 years, travels to Raymond James Stadium, Tampa, Florida, to take on the GOAT, 7-time Super Bowl winner, Tom Brady, who has to put this team on his shoulders, dealing with a ton of injuries. We already talked about Godwin, Antonio Brown freaking out. We've talked about Fournette and Jones being out, but now the offensive line, now the players that protect them in Wirfs and Jensen are hurting as well. Pete, take it away. Can't wait to hear this.
That was not good last week, right? Brady getting sacked 4 times. That doesn't usually happen to him, and certainly, you never know how they're going to respond after a performance like that. But the key to the game might just be how well the Bucs offensive line holds up against the Rams defensive line, which is elite, and the Eagles offensive line is not. When I first looked at this, I was thinking a few things. I was thinking maybe over. I was thinking maybe Rams team total over. And, Brady is sort of immune to things like age, right? Offensive line injuries. It's no matter what, Brady to Evans is going to be awesome. So I was thinking about, regardless of who's on the offensive line, Evans yardage receiving yardage over prop. Maybe we'll see what the line is when it comes out. But regardless of who's on the offensive line, again, I would think we're going to see another big game from Evans, probably another 100-yard game from him. And so it's fascinating. From a football analysis perspective, the way to disrupt Brady is just to pressure him up the middle, and it looks like the Rams are primed to do that, and the Bucs offensive line is going to be particularly vulnerable to that in light of what happened last week. But I've learned many times over the years that betting against Brady, you'll win once in a while, but it's more often than not something you want to be staying away from. So I don't know, and I was thinking maybe a sneaky play with OBJ yardage over as well. I think that he's obviously developing good chemistry with Stafford. Stafford's going to be passing a lot no matter what. The Bucs obviously stuff the run, and so it's just going to be Stafford passing a lot, and hopefully they'll have success with it. I don't think they're going to try to change up the game plan that much. Just go with their strengths, and so we might get a relatively low yardage number. I'll be interested to see what that one is, because Cooper Kupp is going to be probably double teamed. I don't know what that yardage number is going to be, but it's probably going to be high, and they're probably going to try to shut him down. And then try to force Stafford to beat him some other way. So I'd be thinking about OBJ yardage over, prop receiving yardage over, and maybe the Rams team total over, and maybe just the full game over at 48. That's about all I got for you, Jimmy the Bag.
Well, looking forward to see what you make official there. And you were right. OBJ is a happy football player right now.
Yeah.
Nothing official at this point for P. We did move the show back to Wednesday so that we could have the player prop guys involved. You are one of them. Brizzy, we got our guy Brisbane coming on later. So we set it up for Wednesdays just to have your input here. So we'll be keeping our ear to the streets to see what you have here.
Anything that you've heard that agrees or disagrees with anything I said? Any comments coming in saying, Loshak doesn't know what he's talking about, or anything like that you can give to me, Jimmy the Bag?
No, nothing negative. Nothing.
Okay, good.
Nothing negative here, but
good.
The more that we cap this card with all these great cappers, the more I am understanding how live these Rams are.
For sure. Oh, are you kidding? Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, if it weren't for Brady, this would be, it's just like, again, Brady's kind of immune. You know what I mean? It's like, well, he's 52 years old. Maybe you want a better quarterback who's 52. No, it's Brady. So the rules don't really apply as much. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying, and we'll see what you get to the window with here.
It might be just a no-brainer play. Evans receiving yardage over, You
don't think that Ramsey can lock him down? He's had great success against them.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm assuming that they will. I mean, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, the game plan is paramount there. Yeah, for sure. But we'll see what the line is.
I can't wait to see what you go to the window with. Let's keep rolling. The final game on the card, and what looks to be the most exciting an AFC battle between the Bills and the Chiefs. Pete, take it away.
Bills and Chiefs, another one. This one looks like, to my eye, very coin flippy, but there's a couple of props that I was thinking about when they come out. We'll see what the odds are. First of all, I was thinking about Travis Kelce over yardage prop again. And I was thinking that maybe, depending on what the odds are, Mahomes to throw an interception, right? Because obviously Buffalo has an excellent defense, and they also have a defense that is set up to give Mahomes is ideally constructed to give Mahomes as much of a problem as it's possible to give him, which is getting pressure on him without blitzing. The Bills actually had some of the best pressure numbers in the league, but they didn't do it by blitzing, right? They're kind of middle of the road. I think they were like 15th or something in blitz percentage, but they got great pressure, and that's exactly how you disrupt Mahomes a little bit. So I'm not necessarily saying that he's going to have a bad game, but I am saying that here or there he might be vulnerable to throwing an interception. So my first thought when I looked at this one is see what the Mahomes interception prop line is, and maybe bet on Mahomes to throw an interception. Definitely thinking about Kelsey over yardage props. I think he's probably going to have a big game. I'm assuming, again, similar to the other game, that Buffalo will focus more on trying to contain Tyreek Hill. And if that's the case, then whether it's successful or not, Kelsey's going to have a big game. But even if they don't do that, I think he's primed for that. And so I'd be leaning, Kelsey yardage over, Mahomes to throw an interception. And as far as the game is concerned, I mean, I guess like everyone else, I'm thinking, how could this not be an over bet? Although I'm not going to do that. And as far as the side is concerned, yeah, I mean, statistically, I'd give the edge to Buffalo, but because of the situation and KC being at home, and I definitely wouldn't want to bet him here on the road. That would getting that few points. It looks the spread looks coin flippy to me. The total looks like kind of an obvious overplay, but very public, obviously, and I'm not going to take a shot with that. And so the props I was thinking about: Kelsey yardage over, and Mahomes to throw an interception, and maybe Stephon Diggs yardage over as well. Even though that's also super obvious, Kansas City's KC secondary is just is vulnerable. It's a problem. We don't know what their game plans are going to be. So I don't know, but that's what I was thinking. Jim, what do you think?
I think it all makes sense.
Does it?
So we got a little bit of reverb coming there. Pete, can I just ask you this before we put a bow on this?
Sure.
The Bills coming off playing perfect football at home against their biggest rival. How do you feel about backing a team after a situation like that, now traveling on the road?
Oh, I don't like it. But traveling on the road against whom? Against a mediocre team? Probably the high continues. But going on the road against a team with revenge. I mean, I know they don't have playoff revenge, but they lost at home this year. I mean, I would definitely be statistically. Buffalo is the play, but there's no. If you gave me a free play on the side, I would take KC, no question.
Oh, very, very interesting. Can't wait to see what player props you go to the window with. Follow our guy, Pistol Pete Loshak. He's at P Loshak on Twitter. We have Loshak in the bag every Tuesday, so we'll revisit the moves that he made here. Pete, I can't wait to see what you do. The only official play we have from Pete right now is the Titans -3 at -126, but player props are coming. Thank you for taking the time to roll with us here. We love capping with you, my man. Any last words for these cappers supporting the show?
What'd you say?
Any last words for the guys capping and supporting the show?
Oh, no, I just want to know, did anyone say anything mean about me in the comment section the last few minutes? No? Good? No?
No, nothing.
No? All right, great. That's my last word. Thank you so much for not saying anything mean about me in the comment section. Shout out to all Lowbaggers. Shout out to you, Jimmy the Bag. Glad you're feeling well. Sorry to hear that your kid is sick, but, hopefully he'll get better very, very soon, Jimmy the Bag.
Thank you. Tasha says it best. She says, "We love you, Pete." Right there. We love you, Pete. Thank you. Pistol Pete Loshak in the house. Next up, we head to Jacksonville. We head down south after going from Queens to Brooklyn, and we have our 4th ranked capper on the show, sitting at 14-12 plus 0.86 units, coming off a 2-2 week, down 0.15 units, which means that he's itching to get back in the saddle to deliver the W's. I love your next guest. Please welcome to the show, Jacksonville Zou in the house. Zou, how are you, my guy?
Doing good, Jimmy. Doing good. How about you?
I am good. I'm getting healthier and healthier, and these games are absolutely fascinating. We've had picks from Bebenek, Pavone, Loshak so far, and now it is your time. You still have the number 1 ranking within reach. We've prepped all these games. We've talked about all these games. And now it is time to hear the picks from our cappers. Let's start with Bengals, Titans, and talk about how you already attacked this game a few days ago. Take it away here. This is the opener of the playoffs on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm going to get into that just 1 minute. I saw Dan Kelly talking about sharps, and I want to comment to everybody. Last week, if you just look at the games last week and the way the sharp money went, the Eagles were a sharp play, the Patriots were a sharp play, the Steelers, believe it or not, were a sharp play, and then the Cardinals. They all were – the lines moved early in the week, all in favor of those teams. And so I've learned capping. I can't cap sharp versus square and think I'm on the right side because I'm on the sharp side. So just wanted to make that comment because I saw Dan talking about it. And this week, I think you'll hear a lot about the sharps around these guys like the Bills and so on. All right, so Bengals Titans. Yeah, the key injury for me here, you pointed out, and I said last week when I bet the Raiders that since he has the worst O-line, and then they lose their big defensive tackle. You're probably going to pronounce the name better than I am, Jimmy. Ogunjobi or something like that.
A big loss. We talked about the tying the team lead with, I believe, 12 and a half tackles for a loss, Larry Ogunjobi.
So you get Henry back, and I think Henry's going to get 15, 20 carries. You're still gonna have him relieved by the old Houston. I'm trying to remember the guy's name, the one that was the lead back while he was out, Jimmy.
Sorry, I missed it. Deonta Foreman? Are you talking about
Foreman? Yeah, Foreman. And so Foreman will pick up maybe 10 carries here, but without Ogunjobi in there, I just see Tennessee be able to run the ball. I said it in my tweet that Tennessee's just been underrated most of the year. Most teams look at it. Vrabel's done such a great job. If you ask me, Vrabel should be coach of the year or second coach of the year. I just see Tennessee being underrated here. Everybody's looking at Joe Burrow. Tennessee's defense is not the Raiders' defense. Tennessee's defense is better. Their defensive line's been playing really well the second half of the year. This is my favorite bet of the weekend. Titans, I got it -3 at -115. I just really like this bet. And I think the public looking at Burrow, looking at that high-flying offense, the games are still won in the offense and defensive line. And I think the Titans are better on the offensive line and they're better on the defensive line. The only difference is Burrow is a better quarterback than Tannehill. So that's the one thing that's a little scary is Burrow can throw those back shoulder passes to Chase and Higgins. Very tough to defend. But I like when I have the better offensive line, the better defensive line. That's the Titans. They'll win by 4 to 10 points, somewhere in that range. I still like him at -3.5.
You got it. You got that 3. It's a big move. The 3.5s are now -101. You got the 3 at -115 at playersonly.com. Excellent work there. We've now had 4 cappers on the show, and all 4 have backed these Tennessee Titans. We'll see what Brizzy, Noli Knows, and Ski Profit have to say, but that's where we stand right now. Great breakdown. So let's move on to the 49ers Packers. I can't wait to hear your look on this spot. The Niners go into SoFi and take care of the Rams. Then they go into AT&T and take care of the Cowboys. Now, can they go into Lambeau and take care of the Packers? We're asking for a lot. Is this team capable of doing it? I fear your answer here. So take it away, Niners Packers.
So I was on the Niners last week, Jimmy, and Cowboys helped them a little bit. 14 penalties, a lot of them to give San Fran a first down or to take a first down away from Dallas. But I still really believe the 49ers are the better team there. They have a good offensive line, good defensive line, the stuff that I like. But you run into the Packers here, who I believe, Jimmy, I give them 3.5 points for home field. I think this is the best home field left in the playoffs. With the tundra and the fans in Green Bay, I just think that the really cold temperatures Green Bay's used to playing in, San Fran's used to that moderate thing. You got Jimmy G, and I know I've heard this from some of the other cappers. I don't think his thumb. I mean, he had a terrible overthrow that put Dallas back into that game last week. That was just a terrible pass. I don't know what he was doing. And then the whole thing with Trent Williams not taking your time on the quarterback sneak to end the game and just let Trent Williams put his fist in the ground, and he gets a penalty for going too early. And Jimmy G, I like him, but, man, give me Aaron Rodgers. Give me the home field. I think they win by 7 to 10 points. I think that Green Bay has the goods. I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I think that you're going to have San Fran doing a lot of zone defense, what they like to run. Aaron Rodgers should tear up a zone defense. Bosa being hurt doesn't help. Warner, even if he plays, he's going to be playing on a gimpy ankle. That doesn't bode so well. So I think this bye week helped because the Packers got healthier. You're going to get Bakhtiari back. You're going to get a lot of key components. Hopefully Jair Alexander may be back. I just think Green Bay here is going to win by at least a touchdown. And I'm sorry, Jimmy, I know you're a 49er fan, but they had a hell of a job going into Dallas and beating Dallas, and I think it's now time for them to bow out.
All very possible. Also, Zadarius Smith going to be back.
Yes.
Whitney Merciless going to be back. We already seen what Rashawn Gary can do, which has been very impressive. You have Preston Smith. Nobody's beaten the Packers at home this season. So a very, very tough hill to climb. There's my guy, Lamont Williams, in the house. Great to see you. So I'm going to line shop for you on these Packers. I'm going to try to find you a 5.5. Here on in my site that I'm using, it says Will Hill is hanging a 5.5. I don't know if anybody in the chat could go ahead and confirm that Will Hill is still hanging in the 5.5. I would love to know that. I'm going to line shop for you on these Packers, but let's move on to Sunday action. So Rams and the Buccaneers, and we have the big Ragu fresh off of a 9-1 plus 8.05 unit week here last week, and he believes the Buccaneers can take care of business. He said in the chat that we're focusing so much on the new injuries to the offensive line in Wirfs and Jensen and not focusing enough on the defensive reinforcements that the Buccaneers have had and how good their defense is. Take it away. How are you betting Rams Buccaneers?
I heard I think I came on when Alex was talking, and I do lean the under. I might end up betting the under in this game, Jimmy, because I do think the Rams defense is going to hold Brady down, and I do like the Bucs defense. I think the Bucs defense will do a decent job, and I think maybe even McVay might come in with a somewhat conservative game plan here. But at the end of the day, I like the Rams here, and yeah, we're talking about offensive line. I can tell you if Wirfs truly has a high ankle sprain and you're going to line Von Miller up over top of him, I think Von Miller is going to go right around him. And believe me, Josh Wells played, 5 seasons for the Jaguars, and he's your backup left tackle. And I don't know if you watched, but I don't think it was Bosa. No, who was it last week? One of the defensive linemen just basically put Josh Wells into Tom Brady's lap. It was Kerrigan. For the Eagles. Kerrigan just pushed him right back into. So, yeah, I take the injuries into concern a little bit, but overall, this Rams defense is playing at a top-notch level. The defensive line's playing great. It doesn't help when you have Jensen and Wirfs banged up, even if they play. I think they will get some pressure on Brady, and then I just like the back end of the Rams. I like putting Ramsey on either Gronk or on Evans, either one of them. I think that Ramsey can shut down one of Brady's, and this is where it's really going to hurt Brady that he doesn't have multiple. He used to have 4 weapons to throw to, and now I feel like he's down to 2. And even if they get Fournette back, I think he's going to still be somewhat – he won't be able to break away with an 80-yard run with a hamstring injury. But I just think this is the Rams' time, and I like getting 3 points here, so I'm on the Rams.
The best we can get you at this point is a minus 118 on that 3. So it's going to cost a little bit. You no problem with that juice associated?
No problem with that at all.
Okay, let's grab that here. I'm jumping on Will Hill just to make sure that this is the case here. I don't know if they're going to let me in. If anybody in America can check Will Hill, I'd really like to get a 5.5 if it's available. But let's lock Zou in with the Rams plus 3 at minus 118. Rams plus.
Slatsy's saying it's minus 6 at Will Hill.
Thank you, Slatsy. Okay, so we're gonna line shop and get you the lowest vig on that spot there for the Packers. But we have one giant game still left on the docket: Bills Chiefs. Woo-wee, is this a fun way to cap these 4 NFL games. Take it away here. A battle of the best in the AFC. A lot of people calling it the real, conference title game, and I think that's unfair to the Titans. But do take it away, Bills Chiefs.
Yeah, so this is the one I want. I'm gonna wait. This one I'm gonna enjoy to watch the most. Josh Allen's playing at such a high level. You got Mahomes against Allen, and I won't touch this over. For whatever reason, I have a funny little feeling in my gut this game might go under, even though you look at both these offenses. I view the Bills are going to do what they did last time out. They'll roll coverage to Hill. They'll roll coverage to Kelsey. I also sent you a TD prop I really like here, which is Pringle. I think Pringle will score for Kansas City because they are going to focus so much on Hill and Kelsey. And Pringle, I think last game had 2 touchdowns. I was on that, but I didn't play it here on our show. But I just view Pringle as coming into his own, and he will score in this game, and Buffalo will do everything they can with Kelsey and Hill. And it seems like to me, Jimmy, I don't know if you've noticed this, but Tyreek Hill has not been tearing up the stat sheets the last month. If I look at his output, Kelsey's been doing his thing, but Tyreek Hill, I know he had a little foot injury or something like that, but he hasn't had his normal earlier in the season 10 catch games, 100 yards. I've been noticing that with Hill. Have you noticed that?
Tyreek Hill's numbers have not been enormous, and he sort of seems to be feast or famine isn't the right term, but just because he's still going for 60 and 65 yards and a touchdown, so it's not famine, but it seems to be it's either 170 plus yards or 50 or 55. And so I completely see what you're saying. And we saw that with Kelsey for a little while now. Kelsey has stepped up. But if you looked at DeMarcus Robinson, you looked at Pringle, you looked at some of these guys, I mean, they're spreading the ball around in a pretty impressive fashion now.
Yep.
So I see why you're looking at Pringle props.
Alex brought up McKinnon. You were a 49er guy, so you remember McKinnon there. And Clint being a Vikings guy, McKinnon was there. And great receiver out of the backfield. Not a guy you're going to give the ball to 20 times a game, but a nice complementary piece with the problems that KC's had at running back this year. As far as health goes, McKinnon's is a nice piece here. I like Kansas City in this game. Originally, Jimmy, I was leaning towards Buffalo when I saw the 2.5 come out. I was like, geez, I think Bills are playing really well. But then I always go back to, just like I said last week in that Cowboy 49er game, Cowboys killed the Eagles, and everybody just on the Cowboy. Look at how good they looked, but the Eagles had a lot of second stringers in. Bills absolutely demolish New England. Don't kick the ball. Don't have a punt in the game. And I bet you this line, I didn't see, there was probably not a look ahead on this one, but I would have guessed if that game was close in the Patriots, Kansas City's going to be 3.5 or 4 in this spot. But because of the way the Bills look, they posted it under 3. I like Kansas City at home. I just think that the Bills, as much as I have some friends that are big Bills fans, I just don't know if they're ready for the big time. Give me Kansas City at home, where I know the team I'm going to get. The defense has been playing on another level for like the last 8 games of the season. They fixed their problems that they had in the first game that was 38-20. That was back when Kansas City Chiefs couldn't stop my mother from running through a hole in the line. So I just think this is a different Kansas City team with the defense, and Mahomes has kind of gotten used to he can dink and dunk now, or he can throw over the top like he did against the Steelers. I think you're going to find Buffalo is going to run 2 safeties deep, make him work his way down the field, which I think Mahomes will do. Josh Allen is the only scary part of it, Jimmy. He looks – how do you stop Josh Allen? And I will look at this again. Josh Allen's rushing prop, if that is anywhere near 40 to 45, I got to be on Josh Allen running the ball because he's going to get 50 yards on the ground. The Chiefs are going to run a lot of man-to-man, and whenever you can see a defense that plays a lot of man-to-man and you have a running quarterback, take the rushing prop. And I think that's what I'm going to do as long as it's not 50-some yards on the prop. If it's 40 to 45, I'll be on the over for his rushing yards.
Well, Add your player props, tag me, I'll retweet
will.
it, and we'll have it locked in. But the Chiefs are available for you at -1.5 and -110. Thank you, Dennis. Yeah, they have moved to Bet365, just moved to -1.5 and -110 with no VIG at all. So there you have Chiefs -1.5, -110. We're going to get more player props from Zou, and impressive season you've had here on the show. Zou, you have done 6 weeks with us, and you're sitting 14-12 plus 0.86 units and destined for glory this weekend. Titans -3 at -115. Packers -6 at -103. Rams +3 at -118. Chiefs -1.5 at -110. Thank you for sharing your hard work with us. Follow our guy Zou on Twitter. We pop his Twitter handle in right now in our chat, and can't wait to see what player props you add in. Can't wait to see your player props, and can't wait to see Pistol Pete's player props. And we have Billy Brisbane up next, who's a player prop aficionado, and can't wait to hear what he wants to do. Zou, any last words for the great cappers supporting the show?
I hope everybody cashes this weekend, and I look forward to watching the rest of the show. And I heard Pistol Pete say that your son still isn't all the way back, so I wanted to wish you and him continue to get back to health.
Thank you.
And other than that, hey, have a good one, everybody. I just want to see everybody make some money this weekend.
I love it. I love it. Much love to you, Jacksonville Zou. Thank you for rolling with us. Our next guest has spent most of the year in first place in our NFL Pub Hub standings. He has an average line that is plus units. He is now 16-16 plus 1.62 units. He missed a plus 250 parlay of 3 different players to go for over 40 yards, and 2 of them did, and one player ended at 39. He missed it by 1 yard, and that's not the only player prop he's missed by 1 yard this year. He could very easily be at the top of the standings, but it is within reach, and if you've watched this man work, you know that he cashes tickets. Please welcome to the show, Billy Brisbane in the house. Brizzy, my man, how are you?
Man, I needed some Allen Iverson luck for this card because I heard Big Ragoo, the OG, is coming for the top. And, man, he wasn't fucking around, man. I ain't see a card like that wild card weekend in a minute. I was like, damn, Ragoo, you're going to make me have to go sit back in the lab and go cook up some plus money props on some clinch shit.
Yeah, you're right. 9-1 plus 8.05 units. It was very, very impressive. He was running real nice, and then he had week 16 where he went 0-5 down 5.8 units. He digs deep and he vaults to the top with an 8.05 unit. You have not done that though. You have been Mr. Consistent. You have joined us on 8 different weeks. The worst week you've had is down 2 units. The best week you've had is plus 1.95 units. You also had a plus 1.9 units. And during that opening run was when you missed that parlay that was going to be a 2.5 unit score for you. You've been extremely consistent and extremely impressive all year, Billy. And we moved the show from Tuesday to Wednesday just to have you and Sharpie's input on the show. And I know it's tricky moving on the player prop market on a Wednesday, but thank you for fighting the good fight for us. I am confirming that you are only focusing on the 3 games and leaving the Bills-Chiefs game alone.
We are leaving the Bills-Chiefs games alone. Jimmy, it's pay-per-view week over here on Pub Sports Radio, and, job's got to get done. That's the last game of the slate, so that's the last game that we're going to cap.
Okay, respect. Now, Brizzy, anything that you tweet out, if you do want to make moves on that game, if you do want to give us a hint at the end of the game or at the end of your run here, feel free, tag me, and it will go on your official record. But let's get right to work. How are you making money in Bengals-Titans?
Yeah, Bengals-Titans was a weird one, man. I really like the Burrow props over the Tannehill props. The Bengals have allowed only 3 300-yard-plus passing games this season and 0 since week 8. So especially how the run game looked last week, I don't know, man. Joe Mixon did not look good last week, and the Titans' defense is a really bad matchup. The Titans' defense has allowed only 100-plus yard rusher since Jacksonville did it in week 5, and we know how we feel about Jacksonville. Besides Jacksonville Zou, obviously, of course. And last week, Mixon averaged 2.8 yards per carry last week. I think the big thing here is what you're going to want to do is attack the wide receivers in the prop market. The easiest way to beat Tennessee is through the air. I like Jamar Chase, but the Titans, man, I feel like they're just going to juice the Jamar Chase props up to a point where I'm not even going to be able to bet it because the Titans were the second best wide receiver matchup for fantasy throughout this whole entire season. And the way that Chase played last week, it's obviously going to be juiced. Jimmy, my dumb ass bet longest reception over 23.5 on Jamar Chase last time. And dude, I was literally texting Big Show in the middle of the UFC stream every time Jamar Chase catch the ball. Did he get 23 yards? Did he get 23 yards? Did he get 23 yards? Big Show's like, no, you didn't. You're going to have to miss out on it. And I said, all right. So, I think I'm going to go back to the well with my boy T. Higgins, man. This is a really good matchup for him. He's been kind of a little bit quiet of recent. People are kind of forgetting about my boy T. Higgins because of CJ Uzomah last week. He's coming off a huge game where he recorded 18.4 fantasy points, and he's not scored more than 7.3 fantasy points in 8 out of his last 9 contests before that. And the Titans have been stout against the tight end, allowing 0 tight ends and second fewest points to the position in the last 7 games. So that's not really something I really want to target. I think the big thing here is going to be Derrick Henry coming back. This is going to be the big storyline for him. Man, his anytime touchdown prop, though, at -190 is absolutely ridiculous. The books are prepared for the Henry comeback. But I think there will be value maybe on Deontay Foreman if his prop is going to be a little bit suppressed in the markets. A.J. Brown, also in this game, he played the last 3 games since coming back from injury. His highlight performance was week 16, 11 catches, 145 yards, and 1 touchdown against the 49ers. I do like A.J. Brown, but I don't know if this is going to be the A.J. Brown week for me. Kind of like Julio Jones as well. But, man, Julio Jones has been dusty as fuck of recent. But he's been all right, though. He's had 5 catches in the season finale for 58 yards, so he didn't look too dusty. I think everyone being healthy on the Titans is really going to go a long way. They've been figuring everything out while kind of bandaging the pieces together while everybody was missing. And now they have the band back together, and nobody's really seen the band back together, and that's not on film. So I think the public is going to be enamored by the way the Bengals looked last week, and I think there are going to be a lot of recency bias on the Bengals. And can they fulfill the expectations? I'm not going to say they can't. That's the reason why I haven't officially moved on it, because it's Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Them boys been doing it back since God knows when they probably met each other when they came out of high school and went to LSU together. So I don't know, man. I don't know what kind of connection they have. I don't want to be fucking around with it, but I think the public is going to smack the Bengals, and I think we're going to end up getting Titans -2.5 right before the game goes off. So I'm going to stay off of this one ultimately. Official play, though, T. Higgins, anytime touchdown, +190.
T. Higgins, anytime touchdown at +190 is the official look. If you want to add anything, you can throughout the week with all the players that you've already mentioned. I do think that Julio Jones has a nice opportunity. 120 snaps. Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, and Derrick Henry had together out of 1,133 snaps on the season. And A.J. Brown's going to get most of the attention. And Derrick Henry's going to get a ton of attention. And who's that leave possibly is Julio Jones, who we know can step up in these situations. T. Higgins, anytime touchdown, though, a very interesting look. We know that there's going to be a ton of attention paid to Jamar Chase. Hard to believe that he's 21 years old. 21 years old. And
Jimmy, though, I played this game last week, and the reason why I'm a little bit nervous about moving on this game early is because this is the only game of last week that absolutely fucked up my card. It was the first card. It was the Bengals against the Raiders. I only picked player props, and dude, if I literally didn't pick any player props throughout that game for this weekend, I would have went up 10 units. But that game alone brought me down like 2.5 units. Just a little sketchy about it. But that's the reason why we're going back to T. Higgins. Stamp it. Let's go. +190.
Consider it stamped. T. Higgins, anytime TD for our man Billy Brisbane in the house. We move on to the Saturday late game, that being the San Francisco 49ers heading to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Take it away, Brizzy. How you getting paid here?
Oh, man. This is one of those games where shouts to my boy Boston Nick. Boston Nick MMA holds it down. Because last week, I'm not going to lie, Nikki, when that Bills and Patriots game came on, I had it on the other monitor, and I was glued onto the screen. And I think in the first half of this game, I might be glued onto the screen again while the main event is going to be starting. But preferably, I want to attack the Packers props in this game. Aaron Rodgers, especially, when these two teams played in week 4, he threw for 261 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, which is really not that crazy of a game for Rodgers, but in real life, it was a really good game. They won the game. And, I kind of want to be looking at Devontae Adams in this spot. He had a huge day against the 49ers this season. He had 12 catches for 132 yards and a touchdown in that game in September. And Adams has scored 6 touchdowns in 5 of his last games, and he'll be the vocal point of the offense. The 49ers have allowed opposing wide receivers to put up at least 34 PPR points 3 different times this season. So those are the big splash games, the ones that put you on a yacht for $1 million. In addition, the 4 other receivers, man, they have allowed 4 other receivers to score at least 18 PPR points over the span too. The secondary wide receivers, it's like rolling the roulette reel on this one, man. I really don't have any true lean on this one because with Randall Cobb being thrown back into this mix, it really throws everything off. But, there's a lot of value on this anytime touchdown prop for my boy Alan Lazard. He's had 10 receiving touchdowns during the regular season. His anytime touchdown prop for this weekend is plus 155. That is going to be something I'm going to be looking at. But I do have a special place in my heart. Shouts to my boy in the chat. He's here, Sharpie. Man, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, man, he had a fucking day when the 49ers played against each other. It didn't really feel like it in hindsight when I was looking at some statistical data today. But, man, Sharpie was down there in Las Vegas, and we bet Marquez Valdez-Scantling after we got fucked by him the week before. And, dude, he cashed that shit in the first quarter off of, 3 catches. It was probably the easiest money I've ever made in my life. And me and Sharpie were fucking laughing out the window. I was in New Jersey. He was in Las Vegas. But virtually, we're laughing out the window together. But majority of the production, even though it came in the first quarter, I don't know if I want to go back to it. The running back situation here is definitely not the situation that you want to really attack. There could be some value on Aaron Jones. He nearly had 100 scrimmage yards in the first game. He had 82 rushing yards and a touchdown off of 19 carries, which is actually a really good total considering the 49ers defense has been really stout this year. They have allowed the least amount of fantasy points to the running back position over the last 3 weeks of the regular season. And it seemed like the team really wanted to limit Aaron Jones's work going into the playoffs. So I don't know if I really want to have my money invested on Aaron Jones props going into the weekend or the rookie A.J. Dillon. Shouts to my boy Tone. Tone taught me these rookies out here playing in the playoffs. There's levels to this shit, and the rookies are going to have to learn levels. And, hey, I'm not going to ask questions. Sometimes you just sit in the car as a passenger, and you're just glad you're there for the ride. Next, though, Jimmy Garoppolo. Everybody knows what the deal is for this one. Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't know what the thumbs up, thumbs down. We've been trying to fade Jimmy G literally since the beginning of the year. We were back there over the summer in the Discord, and this was in June. I said the Cardinals are going to be the best team in this division. The 49ers fucking suck. And everybody started freaking the fuck out, freaking the fuck out. And they're like, this, that, and the third, this, that, and the third, this, that, and the third. And I said, dude, sleep on this Cardinals team. Man, shouts to Jeff Slaughter, because if it wasn't for him, I would have bet that Cardinals team on Monday night, and my dumbass would have been looking like a straight dumbass. Slaughter cashed this first half ticket. It was honestly the most magical thing I've ever been a part of in my life. They scored. He said, we're taking the first half team total over. Bet it once. We bet it twice. Nikki said, fuck it, bet it the third time. We bet it the third time. All 3 of them bitches cash. Dude, that Monday night football, lovely. The only thing that we missed was a Christian Kirk prop, and Tone had the sharpest look ever with the Odell Beckham. He had the Martin Luther King tattoo on his leg. He said he's going to score the first touchdown of the game. He was literally at the casino. He was literally driving to the casino as he is telling this to put our money on this. And he said, this is going to happen. It happened, and he turned back around to the casino to pick up the money and proceed with the rest of his night, and ended up playing Fortnite by the end of the night. True story, man. True story. And then, man, that shit's crazy. But this is the same game parlay game. This is the reason why we're focusing on this game. This is the same game parlay game that you're really going to want to attack. Deebo Samuel is going to be kind of like he's basically just a fancy cheat code this season in the passing and receiving game. Sharpie's on a prop on him again. He had the rushing yard prop. We tailed Sharpie on the rushing yard prop. That was probably one of the easiest cashers this season, but I think the books are going to be all over that. So I'm going to try to attack his receiving yard prop. He scored at least 16 PPR points in 5 games in a row, but he was held to only 10 PPR points against the Green Bay in week 3. Brandon Ayuk, he's coming into this one in good recent form. He scored at least 11 PPR points in 4 straight games in a row with 4 catches for 37 yards and a touchdown in his first game versus Green Bay with the 6 targets. Juwan Jennings, though, is the kind of guy that I'm going to be having a highlight on for deep targets for daily fantasy. He could offer some value in the prop market as well. He's seen 5+ targets in 5 of his last 6 games while playing on 50% of the snaps. He's coming into this game in good recent form. I think it was last week. He had 7 targets, 6 passes, 94 yards. No, that was the last game of the season. 2 of the games are getting mixed up. The last week, regular week of the season, my man had 7 targets, 6 catches, 94 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And we all were like, what the fuck, Juwan Jennings? Where did this come from? And then it carried into the Cowboys game last week where he had 5 targets in his first playoff game. So I think the rookie's ready to go. George Kittle, though, is my biggest fade of the game in this game. His receiving yards and targets have really just dropped off of the face of the earth while the rushing game has been on the rise. Kittle has been serving as their 6th offensive lineman. He's had 3 games straight of 2 or fewer receptions. He's only had 1 touchdown over his last 4 games while playing on 96% of the offensive snaps. He scored 17.4 PPR points combined, which translates to 4.35 points per game. Coach Shanahan, when asked about Kittle's performances recently in the media, he's said Kittle's just being a part of the team and just playing his role, and he's not complaining about him catching the ball. He just cares about the wins. And I don't blame him, man. We're sports gamblers, and we just care about cashing the tickets. The Elijah Mitchell, though, that was the rookie that probably looked one of the rookies that I really had an eye on coming into the playoffs. He looked electric flying back there, man. He only played on 51% of the snaps while still scoring a touchdown and having 15.5 PPR fantasy points. This matchup isn't the most ideal on paper, but I would expect the 49ers to run the ball and keep the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hand as much as possible. But if he can hover around 18 touches, I definitely would be interested in this one. But ultimately, though, I think the Packers are going to be a good parlay piece for the weekend.
Are you going to make anything official at this point, Brizzy?
I do have something official, but I would have to actually probably go on my phone and look at my tickets.
Okay, you don't need to worry right now if you want to tweet something out. If you would prefer to do it that way, it's totally up to you right now. The breakdown was fascinating, and I also just cashed the first half over in Houston, Utah by a half point and was trying to keep my shit together so I didn't scream.
Dude. It's crazy, man. I'm glad we didn't do this during the Sixers' first quarter. Cheers to anybody that tailed me on that.
Nice work. Okay, so let me know if you want to make anything official on 49ers, Packers. We move on to your final game that you are going to be focusing on, that being the Rams Buccaneers on Sunday. Matty Stafford, fresh off his first ever playoff victory in his 13-year career, heading to where the GOAT chews grass at Raymond James Stadium. Take it away here, Rams Buccaneers.
Yeah, man. I heard you talking with Loshak about the Mike Evans shit. I'm with you, Jimmy. I don't know. Let's talk this one out. The shit kind of got me skeeved out. Like, on paper, this looks like an absolute smash spot for Mike Evans. He's been absolutely eating in the last couple of weeks, 14+ fantasy points in 3 straight games. He's seen a combined 24 targets in those games, and the Bucs have no Godwin, Brown, not even some of their secondary players like Grayson. He's a little bit banged up. And, as every Tom Brady team does, next man up. And nobody notices. But I'm noticing the Rams have given up 18.6 points to Evans in their first meeting of the season. I think that's in the back of their mind. Ramsey back in the day used to play that shadow coverage. Over here on the Rams, I don't know. They don't really want to shadow him. I understand it makes more sense for team defense rather than prima donna starting safety who could potentially get hurt. I don't know. But ideally, if I was the Rams, but I'm not the Rams, I'm not a coach. Ideally, if I was the Rams coach, why the fuck wouldn't you shadow Mike Evans the whole entire game and let anybody else beat you? You want to be dumbasses and kick Antonio Brown off the fucking field because my man wanted to go get a fucking paycheck? Well, then now you're going to suffer and you're going to pay for it because the Rams are going to come in and whoop this team's ass. But in the meantime, though, we're going to try to catch these player props. Rob Gronkowski, he finally found the back of the end zone last week in last week's wildcard game. He had 5 catches for 31 yards off of 6 targets with at least 14 fantasy points in 3 games in a row. He had 4 catches for 55 yards and 8 targets against the Rams in week 3. You know me, man. If you haven't met me, I'm a big Gronk guy. You know, I'm a big Gronk guy. He likes to party, get the work done. I respect it. That's how I want to be when I grow up, is Rob Gronkowski. Cash checks, retire, come back, do whatever the fuck you want to do and live in Tampa Bay, Florida. I can't imagine, man. But as I digress a little bit, Leonard Fournette, rumblings that he's going to be coming back this week. Throughout the first 14 weeks of the season, he started 13 games, and he was the team's leading rusher, and he was actually leading the league in receiving running back yards, which was – if you would have told me that before the season, I would have told you you're bullshitting, and I would have been a broke motherfucker if I would have paid against that. Because if you would have told me Leonard Fournette was the leading receiver in the NFL – for running backs, Uncle Benny, I would have told you you're crazy. But I don't know what we're going to do with this running back situation. We're probably going to have to get some news later on in the day. But if he was to be limited, I do like me some Gio Bernard. He looked really good last week. He came off of an injury, played 36 snaps, rushed the ball. I didn't even think he even rushed the ball. He was just catching the ball out there. Hey, he scored a touchdown and everything. We actually had a run-it-up parlay, and it was not Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski and Keyshawn Vaughn, both of them anytime touchdown. It was plus 475. It was one of the easier cashers of the weekend, so it was one of my favorite same game parlay sections. But when it goes to the Rams in this one, not going to really tell you anything that you don't already know on Cooper Kupp. So you know what to do with Cooper Kupp. You play Cooper Kupp. Obviously, last week was a weird situation where they were blowing the team the fuck out so much. My man Cooper Kupp still caught the ball and said, hey, man, I got money on my over prop. I'm scoring this touchdown. And that's what it felt like. I don't know if it's true, but that's what it felt like as a gambler. Odell Beckham, man, you know what the craziest part about the Odell Beckham situation is? People really thought fucking Odell Beckham Jr. was the fucking problem and not Baker Mayfield. In 6 games in Cleveland, he was targeted 34 times and had 17 catches. In 8 games with the Rams, he's been targeted 48 times and has 27 catches. Odell's back to being Odell. He might be a little prima donna pussy and all that, but at the end of the day, if he's going to catch the ball and he's going to be on the field and the books are not going to move his receiving yard, his reception yard props up, and people are not going to bet the over, I will be, because Van Jefferson, I love me some Van Jefferson, but he's kind of more of a big play potential guy. He's had 4 receptions of 20-plus yards over the last 3 weeks, but he's only seen 5 targets just once over those weeks. I don't know if I really want to be fucking around some Van Jefferson stuff. Tyler Higbee, he's had 5 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown off of 5 targets. He's had at least 12 PPR points in 2 of his last 3 games, but I think that's not really the most consistent spot to really attack. When it comes to the running back situation with Cam Akers and Sony Michel, I don't really know what I really want to do with this one because I was sleeping on Cam Akers. I forgot Cam Akers was coming back until I loaded up the daily fantasy slate and I looked at the ownership rankings and it said Cam Akers at the top. I was like, what the fuck? How the fuck is he at the top of the leverage thing? I thought he was injured or something. Then, hey, after the game, I'm sold. He's back. Sony Michel, go back in the doghouse. You're not jack shit. Cam Akers, this is his backfield, and he will be the king of the backfield, and he will be the cash cow of the backfield, and we will cash on the cash cow in the backfield.
The cash cow in the backfield.
Who said run on Tampa Bay? Good luck with that. Me and Birdie were talking about this, and he got me fired the fuck up, Jimmy, before the Eagles game. There's a little bit of me, I'm not going to lie. When we're sports teams down here in America, it's more of just the regional team that you are assigned to. And it's up to that person to decide if they would like to be fans of another team or not. Well, I decided I would like to be a fan of the Eagles at a very young age. And Bertie got me fired the fuck up last week. And he was talking about all this stuff about the run D. Check Tampa Bay's run D to the outside against a fucking Russian quarterback or anything that goes to the outside. I bet you when you look at the deep analytical stats, they fall right the fuck off, and they're not the best run defense. I'm telling you, dude, really look into the stats of Tampa Bay defending the outside rush. It's not as good as you think.
It's fuck you, Birdie. We're fighting. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, shit. Brizzy, I've loved your breakdowns here, and I can't wait to see what you are going to tweet out for the rest of the week, what you are going to make official. Are you making anything official here in Rams Bucks?
Yeah, man. You know, we can't talk 20 minutes about the goddamn game and not talk about parlays. So I got me a little two-legger to get going for this week. You know, I always try to cap the games as a capper. I'm not trying to cap the games as the bookie. I'm just capping the games as a capper. So we're going to take the Packers plus 3.5 and the LA Rams plus 7.5 as a two-leg parlay at minus 142, and that is going to be the honestly, that I don't know what day those two games fall on. Does this game is on Sunday?
Packers Saturday, Rams Sunday.
Yeah, you know, it's paper for the people that are in the chat are like, what the fuck is up with this kid? Hey, dude, it's pay-per-view week over here on Pub Sports Radio, and you know, the UFC can't even put up the fighters on the card until Tuesday. So as cappers, we have to watch their film on people that I haven't even seen ever in my life. So, you know, it's been a long week this week.
Respect. We love the hustle and the work that you put into it. Did you want to make anything official for the 49ers Packers spot?
Nah, Jimmy, this is going to be the make sure you follow me over on Twitter at Getting Bills, because this is one where, you know, sometimes you got to know your specialties in life. And one of my specialties in life is being able to gather information. Sometimes you gather these informations and these things, and you let Big Show cook behind the scenes and whatever. And sometimes Big Show be cooking up these plus money props, and we like to call them, we're hitting golf odds on player props. And dog, Big Show's, I'm gonna have a couple conversations with Big Show. Big Show's gonna get my mind rolling. I'm gonna start thinking about shit that as a capper, you don't think about plus 800 same game parlay odds of bunch of touchdowns and stuff like that. Those are just like set off in different days. And man, Preston, man, I still can't believe my man Preston could have been on a yacht right now if. Man, you got to hear that story, dog. That's for another day.
Well, great breakdowns here. We have two official spots at this point for our guy Brizzy. Packers plus 3.5, Rams plus 7.5 at minus 142, and we have a T Higgins anytime touchdown at plus 190. And I'll be keeping my ear to the streets, man. Whatever you tweet out, I will retweet, and we can make official. And you can add also with Chiefs, Bills, whatever you'd like, because the number one ranking is still within reach, Brizzy.
Yeah, the number one ranking is still in reach, and it's pay-per-view week. So it's going to be a little bit of a weird week because you got to remember, you know, I'm stepping into the low bag world, and we're walking the low bag world life right now. When we get done to stream and stuff like that, it's back to MMA pay-per-view week world. And when it's MMA pay-per-view week world, things are just a little bit quirky and a little bit different. But you're going to see some MMA odds on these player props for this weekend.
I love it, Brizzy. I popped your handle in the chat. Follow our guy at getting_bills_. Brizzy, thank you for taking the time, sharing your hard work with us, my man. Love you so much. Get that cash. I know it's a giant weekend for you. As always, I'll be cheering for you, my guy. Number one ranking within reach. Any last words? Buddy?
Meet me at the window because it's going up this weekend. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. It is pay-per-view week here at Pub Sports Radio. Maybe some of the low baggers that are watching in the chat, they have not, they're still getting used to what things are like over here at Pub Sports Radio. I'm telling you, you be stupid not to fucking tail our MMA shit because we are the best out. Fuck the rest out. We are the best out. Let's go. It's wild card weekend. Last weekend, now we're in divisional weekend, and there's divisions in this shit, and there's levels to this shit, and we're about to show you there's levels. Let's go.
There he is, Brizzy in the house. Man, what a great capper and so much fun to hang with. Let's move on to our next guest coming to us live from Long Beach, California. We have been on the East Coast for this show. Now we head over to the West Coast, and the Jedi Master of Unders making his triumphant return. Please welcome to the show, Noli Knows in the house. Noli, I've missed you, man. How are you?
I'm doing real well, Jimmy. Yeah, I haven't talked to you since that one night when you did that one thing, but we won't get into that. We're here to talk NFL, so we won't get into that. Don't worry, Jimmy. Don't worry. I saw you scared. I'm not going to disclose all that. Don't worry. We'll get into NFL.
Jeez, what the hell happened that night? I know I was drinking all day and night, but God, what the Jesus?
Yeah, we'll leave that for another day. Don't worry, Jimmy. Don't worry, man. Thanks for having me. Shout out to Pub Sports for having me. I'm ready to go.
You are fucking with me now in a big way. I'm rolling through the Rolodex. What the fuck happened that night? Shit. Seemed like everything was. You left at like 7:30. You left at like 8 o'clock. What could I have possibly
I left early, man. Gotta work, man.
Man, I ain't doing nothing but telling boring stories about the Vancouver Canucks, I imagine, man. Noli Knows joining us right now, the Crown Prince of Unders, and he's attacking 2 games on this playoff slate, and we have missed you, Noli. Let's get right to work. You start with the first game on Saturday. The Bengals at the Titans. We've heard a lot of different looks. Can't wait to hear how you're attacking this one. Take it away. Cincy, Tennessee in Nashville. Let's go.
Yeah, big game, exciting game. You talk about Cincinnati Bengals, feel good story over there with Joe Burrow, able to get the monkey off the back, like a lot of people have mentioned, getting the first playoff win in a long time, but still another obstacle here. The Cincinnati Bengals, as a franchise, 0-7 on the road in the playoffs. So this is another tough task for them. And really, what you saw last week against the the Las Vegas Raiders, was their inability to convert on third down and in the red zone. They're 19th in the NFL in red zone percentage, and they're 16th in the NFL in third down conversion percentage. And that's going to be a problem here against Tennessee. I hear a lot of talk about Tennessee giving up a lot of pass yards, but this is a solid defense under Coach Vrabel. This is a very good coach and a very good defense. Third down conversion rate, they are 6th in the NFL. Red zone scoring, they are 7th in the NFL, which makes them 6th in the NFL overall in scoring defense. And what I see in this game specifically is their ability to stop the rush. And I think they'll be able to stop Joe Mixon because a lot of people have. Joe Mixon averaging under 4 yards a carry last 6 games. And I think that continues here against the Tennessee Titans, who are 4th in the NFL, giving up just 3.8 yards per carry. So that's going to be a problem for them to get the offense going, and going against a Vrabel team that's had a lot of time to prepare. You talk about Vrabel with 8 or more days to prepare. He is 8-0 straight up and against the spread. That's 4-0 off a bye, 4-0 after Thursday games. They're averaging 29.6 points per game and giving up only 10.9 points per game. So him getting extra rest is a big problem for the Cincinnati Bengals. And Vrabel, what he likes to do, he likes to run the ball. You look at the last 4 playoff games, they're averaging over 30 rush attempts. He's rushed 40 times against New England, 37 times against Baltimore, going 3-1 to the under in those games. So you know where I'm looking at here. I believe Tennessee Titans will be able to control this game and control the clock with running the ball. Getting Derrick Henry back is a big thing. And you looked at the Cincinnati Bengals last week, 3 defensive linemen were carted off that field. That's going to be an issue going against this offensive line. And like I mentioned, they haven't been able to run the ball. So I think a lot of it's going to be on Joe Burrow. And is he going to be able to go to his number one guy? I don't think so. Vrabel does come from the school of Belichick, and he knows you have to take away the number one guy. And I look at the game against Kansas City, they took away Tyreek Hill, 6 receptions for just 49 yards. And I mentioned the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll mention 3 other teams to go along with that. 4 out of the 8 remaining teams, the Tennessee Titans have not only faced, but have beaten. They've beaten the Rams, the 49ers, the Chiefs, and the Bills. The Tennessee Titans are for real. I hear everybody backing them, and I agree with that. But I look at a totals perspective, and I look at what they're trying to do. They're looking to run the ball. They'll run the ball 37, 40 times and throw the ball 20-some times, and that's what I like to see. When I look at the Cincinnati Bengals as well, on the road this year, Cincinnati Bengals are 6-2 to the under. They're 4-2 to the under in the last 6. The Tennessee Titans are 3-1 to the under in the last 4 playoff games, 4-1 to the under the last 5, 7-2 to the under at home. So you know what I'm looking at here? I'm looking at under 47 here in this game. It's the only way I can look.
Well, I got good news. Circa hanging a 47.5 at minus 109.
Yeah.
47.5. Let's see if any. Oh, and so is Sports Interaction. So there are 2 books hanging a 47.5, but Pinnacle has given us no sign at all that they're going to move to 47.5 and add the hook to it. So let's grab you that under 47.5 at minus 109 available right now at Pinnacle. Noli knows on the board. Great breakdown.
Huge.
Great breakdown. We know what this Titans defense can do against the run. And it's in the air that they are more susceptible. They have one of the top 5 safeties in the league, maybe more in Byard, but their cornerbacks maybe aren't quite as strong, but they can shut Mixon down. They can control the ball. They know how dangerous Burrow is. Under 47.5 at minus 109. Jacksonville Zou says, I think Noli just said under 11 times. That's what Noli just said. Noli, we've missed you, man. We've missed you so much.
Magic number. That's the magic number,
11 times. Under 47.5 at minus 109 for our Noli knows. And Noli has picked one other game to attack here, and that is the big one on Sunday night. Buffalo Bills at Kansas City Chiefs, rematch of last year's conference final, rematch of weeks 5's 38-20 victory for the Buffalo Bills. And will this be the first year that Mahomes doesn't play in the conference final for the AFC? Let's hear how Noli gets paid here. Take it away, Bills Chiefs.
Yeah, let's go into this game right away. You talk about the Buffalo Bills, one of the top-ranked defenses in the NFL when you talk about passing yards allowed, points per game. But let's hold on a second. Let's look at who they've played. You look at 10 of their games have come against opponents in the bottom 10 in scoring. They only have 2 games versus opponents in top 10 passing teams. So their numbers, I think, are a little bit swayed. This isn't the New York Jets. This isn't Miami. This isn't Washington. This is Kansas City. So I think those numbers are a little bit swayed, especially when you look at what they've done against other teams. When you look at Tampa Bay being able to put up 33 points against them. So I think that defense, as good as they might be, not as good as what those numbers might indicate. And on the other side for the Kansas City Chiefs, you look at their defense. They're 26 in net yards per pass attempt, 31st in yards per rush attempt at 4.8, 29th in sacks, 31st in yards after the catch. So pretty much get the ball in your hands and you'll be able to go against this Kansas City defense. Everybody talks about how improved they've been, but against who? Going against Denver, going against the Giants. This isn't exactly, Green Bay without Aaron Rodgers. So what I've seen, their improvement with the Chiefs doesn't really hold much validity to me when you're giving up 34 points against the Cincinnati Bengals. So I still think there's a lot of holes in the Chiefs defense. And when you look at this head-to-head matchups, 3 matchups, They're averaging for the Bills 304 total yards. For the Chiefs, 308 yards. Each quarterback has 7 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions. 79 total points for the Bills, 84 for the Chiefs. I look at the last 2 matchups, the winning team being able to accumulate 38 total points. And when I look at a totals perspective, it's hard for me to look under. It's very, very difficult. The Bills this year versus playoff teams are 5-1 to the under. They're the number 8 passing team, number 3 in points per game, number 6 in plays per game. So they're looking to push a pace. And on the other side, Kansas City Chiefs are 5th in plays per game. They're 4th in points per game and 2nd in passing yards per game. So it's difficult for me to sit here and say it. And I mean, I don't know. I might even need a little bit of help to say it.
Oh no.
Yeah, I like the over here. I like the over.
Oh my God. For the first time in the history of pub sports radio, Noli Knows has bet an over, and it was so shocking that Sharpie dropped a dono to pub sports radio. That's it. You caught Sharpie by surprise. You caught us all by surprise. Slatsy says locusts are coming tomorrow. Wow.
Yeah, man.
Wow. You had to take a drink. You had to drink a drink.
Hey, I couldn't spit it out.
Wow. Well, we do have good news for you, Noli. We do have good news. An over 54 is available at Pinnacle right now. Pinnacle hanging a 54 as we speak, and it is the lowest number on the board. So let's lock you in there. Over 54 at minus 108. Minus 108 for Noli. Those of you who are on Twitter, follow Noli Knows. He's been absolutely destroying college basketball, and we all pray that the MLB starts on time so you can see Noli do what he does best. But Noli Knows making his triumphant return. Slat says I couldn't spit it out. Classic from our guy. He took a swig and he still couldn't say it. Crystal Warren said, "Babe, I passed her window." There you have it. Noli Knows the first over in the history, because you'd always say it's not up to me to bet overs.
It's not my job to bet overs, and it's really not. I leave those to others, but I had to.
Wow. We will have our eyes peeled at the final score of that game. Noli Knows on the Bengals Titans under 47.5 at minus 109 and the over 54 at minus 108. And I really miss sharing the screen with you. It's nice to see you back in action with us here, man. You are beloved. I wish we had more time to hang when we were in LA. San Antonio, dates are locked. Slaughter's locked in the dates. March 21st to March 31st. March 21st to March 31st. And to the Canadians, Slatsy, Birdie, and all of our knuckleheads up north, you won't believe how cheap tickets are to San Antonio round trip. I couldn't believe my eyes. $400 round trip, all taxes, everything in. $400 round trip, Toronto, San Antonio with the short stopover. $400. I could not believe my eyes. We should all meet up in San Antonio, and I hope you can join us. That DJ Big Boss already locked his tickets down, bought his tickets, him and his girl coming out. So we hope.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in his luggage.
Dan Kelly says, I'm going to find an alternate line on that over. Drink in hand is giving us a final score 42-31. 42-31 there. Noli, we've missed you, man. Follow our man Noli on Twitter at Noli Knows. Any last words, Noli, my guy?
Oh, thanks for having me, Jimmy. It's always a pleasure to be on with you in Pub Sports, and good luck to everybody out there. Bet responsibly.
There he is. Noli Knows, coming to us from Long Beach, California. Our next guest has also held the top spot in our top capper rankings for most of the season. So extremely consistent. He has also had 2 different weeks where he swept the board. In week 3, he went 5-0. In week 8, he went 3-0. And it's perfect to have him on the show because I'm having the biggest night in NBA I've had all year long. And he is an NBA expert, but he's not just an NBA expert. He's a very good gambler. And we watched him when we were hammering the horses nonstop, being able to take in information and make the right bet. And he's rolling with us right now. Please welcome to the show, Ski Prophet in the house. Ski, my man, I've missed sharing the screen with you. How are you?
I'm doing well, Jimmy. It's always good to be back with you here. Hopefully I'm having a good night like you having a good night in the NBA. I'm not going to lie. I just woke up from a pretty good nap right now, so I miss whatever action is going on. But, I'm trying to come and make some money with you guys on this NFL.
Yes, and as you've done throughout the season, you are sitting 18 wins and 14 losses plus 2.40 units, and we are very happy to have you rolling with us. And you did just witness Noli Knows give out an over, and I know you've capped with him for years and years and years.
Yeah, I thought he was. I thought he was a little drunk at first. I thought he was going to say under after all that, but it's still surprising to see him pull the trigger on that over for sure.
It's surprising to pull the trigger. Well, Ski, it's great to have you here on the show, our final guest on NFL Pub Hub, and attacking all 4 games on the slate. So let's get right to work. We start Saturday, game number 1, Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow heading to Nashville to face the AFC number 1 seed Tennessee Titans. Take it away, Ski. How are you making money here?
Yeah, I'm not the most long-winded guy, and I'm just, I simplify it. I'm just going to talk to you about the game like how I'm watching the game on my couch. So in this one, how I feel about this, I disagree with what Noli said. I'm going to come for him in this one just because he texted me before the show and said, you after me, so don't be fading me. But I got to look the other way, man, on this total. Tennessee's defense has looked solid like to end the year, but they haven't really been playing any good offenses. When they played a good offense, I want to say they gave up some points. And Cincinnati, I trust Joe Burrow and the weapons that they have over there to score. I think the problem for the Bengals is their front 7 is kind of soft. I think Tennessee, like Noli says, is going to run all over them. I also think they could pass all over them. So I see a lot of points here. I see Tennessee scoring as much as they want. And I think the Bengals, can put up a fight as well in that department. So I like the over 47. And if I had to choose, I like Tennessee's defense, or I trust Tennessee's defense more than I trust the Bengals defense. I'm not sold that Tennessee's defense is great, but I'm just saying I think they're the better unit in this game. And if you tell me also that, Derrick Henry is going to be in the game versus that Bengals front 7, like how the Raiders were running all over them, I like Tennessee in this game. So I like the over 47. I did, people started kind of calling it ski line. I put a little bit on the money line, a little bit on the spread. The money line pretty much covers the amount you're putting on the spread. So if they win, you don't lose. And if they cover, you win it all. And if they lose outright, you lose both. So that's how I like it. And that's how I played it.
Are you going to make a side here official on the show, or just the over 47 at -107 that's available at Pinnacle right now? That's the lowest vig.
Well, I can't. It's too much work for you to probably work it out the way I bet it. But yeah, just over 47, -3.5, and Titans money line.
Easy to do that. And we had Pistol Pete Loshak deal with the same issue here. Pavone and Bebenek took the -3.5 at -101, but Loshak did take the -3 at -126. Would you prefer to keep the vig out of it on the spread and deal with the juice on the money line?
I'll take the 3.5. My bad. I'll take the 3.5 at the less juice because what I'm doing is creating my own line here pretty much. With the what is the money line minus 180? I'm just gonna plug it in real quick. I had it earlier.
Yeah,
minus
minus
180 here.
We can get you a minus 178 right now at Pinnacle.
And if you're getting minus 110, you're creating a. It's messing up here. My bad. But yeah, I do both. You know what I'm saying? I'm just creating my own line here.
Yeah, and if it was minus 110, you'd be creating a minus 146 line.
There you go. You got my back, Jimmy.
Yeah. So no, I get it. I get what you're doing here. It makes a lot of sense. And trademark that ski line shit. For sure. Minus 3.5 at minus 101, and then he's on the Titans money line. I'm
not gonna act like I'm the only person who does it, but I don't see a lot of people do it in basketball or football. Only like baseball and hockey. You know,
you're right. You are absolutely right. It's a baseball NHL sort of a system. So doing it in other sports is new, and I get it and I like it. Jared TG says I need more people to bet the Bengals. So here we go. We've had 7 cappers on the show. Now Brizzy went with the Higgins anytime TD, and Noli went with the under 47.5. Everybody else took the Titans. And by the way, when you said that you were that you disagreed with Noli Knows, he popped up backstage. He popped up just like, he popped up, like this perfect timing, and then he fucked off again. But he popped up. Quick look. You could tell that shot got right to him. God, it's fun to cap with you guys. God, just love capping with you guys. Okay, so Ski firing 3 shots at the first game on Bengals Titans over 47 at minus 107, Titans minus 3.5 at minus 101, and the Titans money line at minus 178. And we have our second rate capper right now, Ski Profit, rolling with us. And we get into the 49ers Packers game. I can't wait to hear your breakdown.
Real quick.
Oh, sure. Jump in, my man.
One more bet, maybe. You know,
sure.
I'm thinking about it. I keep thinking about it. You know, if I like the Titans to win this game, you know, no matter who they face, whether it's the Chiefs or the Bills, I think they have a shot to win that game. So, you know, maybe, you know, a little shot on Titans to win AFC. What can I get on that? Like plus 260-ish, maybe?
Well, let's see what you can get for the Titans to win the AFC. Let's just see what you can get right here.
I'll just say, like, if they play the Chiefs, you know, you could run on the Chiefs all day long, and you're going to have a healthy Henry. And, you know, against the Bills, I do like the Bills defense, but I still think the Titans offense is good enough to compete with them too.
Well, I can get you a plus 300 at bet 365. I wonder if I can beat that at Pinnacle. Here we go. Conference champion plus 306.
All right, bet.
So, ooh. And that is our first future bet on NFL Pub Hub, which does mean Ski pulling out all the stops to get to the top of the heap. I love it. So 4 looks from our Ski Profit. Let's move on to 49ers Packers. This game is very near and dear to my heart. Beating the Cowboys made me extremely happy. And going into Lambeau is a very, very difficult task. We've seen this market go from 4.5 to 5.5 to 6. Are you looking at a total? Are you looking at a side? How are you going to attack 49ers Packers, the Saturday night late game?
Yeah, like I told you, I'm keeping it simple, like how I cap this NFL or cap football, you know. But 49ers, they've been playing good. They've been hot. They've covered and won, I think, 8 of their last 10 games. I was on them last week. You know, I thought I loved their defense versus the Cowboys defense. And, you know, I just thought it was a good matchup. But here, if you're going to tell me, you know, I kind of just got to pick between a choke artist and Aaron Rodgers, you know, I'm going to take the better quarterback in Aaron Rodgers 10 times out of 10. So what I did in this game, I teased the Packers down to where they kind of just got to win the game. And I'm pairing it up with another game we'll talk about after.
Okay. So what did you tease the Packers to?
It was 0, you know, breaking some rules here, you know, but just getting in numbers where they just got to win.
Sure. So you've teased the Packers down to a pick'em as part of your action There. So there we have Saturday night for Ski Profit. We move on to Rams Buccaneers, the first game on Sunday. Stafford traveling to Tom Brady. What a game this is going to be. How are you looking at this spot?
Yeah, this is, like I said, I'm keeping it simple. And what I think in this game, you know, I want the better quarterback. And we all know how successful Tom Brady has been. He may not have all the weapons out there, but I'm still going to take him versus, like, I'm not so – the Rams had a good game plan versus the Cardinals. Kyler Murray looked scared. They just kept coming after him. And I just don't trust Matt Stafford to have as good of a game as we saw in that one. Like, I think that's the best game I've seen the Rams play probably all year. And before that, you know, Stafford has been a turnover machine. I think he had 7 turnovers or 7 interceptions alone, you know, the previous 3 weeks before that, and a couple fumbles. So I just think he was put in a lot of good positions in that last game, like getting the ball midfield a couple times, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know how much of that he's going to get versus the Buccaneers. So I think he makes some mistakes if I got to choose between him and Tom Brady. So it's a little bit safe, but I took the Buccaneers on the money line here. And, you know, I was thinking about this too. You know, this game, the last game that we talked about, you know, I like both of these sides to win, right? So I'm sure I saw the Packers plus 150 or better to win the NFC. I saw the Buccaneers like plus 250 or better to win the NFC. I like them both, like I said, to win the divisional round. And I only need one of them to win to, you know, make a little bit of money. So I think I should take both of them. Buccaneers and Packers to win the NFC. What do you think about that, Jimmy?
I've done similar situations, similar bets and similar situations here. Interesting look at this because you're getting the Packers at plus 152 and the Buccaneers at plus 235. I'm going to quickly line shop and see if we can beat that. I can beat that for the Buccaneers. I can get you the Bucs at plus 260 at bet 365. I get it. I get it because if the Rams beat the Buccaneers, which wouldn't shock us, then can the Rams go into Lambeau and beat the Packers? And I think the answer is no.
Right. And I got to bet Matt Stafford turned the ball over 1,000 times versus Aaron Rodgers. Give me A-Rod. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I get it. I absolutely get it. And then also we have a money line bet on the Buccaneers. That's not that expensive. I mean, Pinnacle has it at minus 143. So it's not like you're using a ton of juice here. Like if we were in Vegas and you wanted to, I know you are in Vegas, but if we wanted to open up and make a much bigger bet, minus 143 is not that bad. So I get. Do you want to make all 3 of those official here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So we have the Bucs minus 143. I bet you some of the guys that are competing for the top spot are sitting here watching you drop these future bets going, oh, shit.
Hey, I got to do a little something to keep up with the sauce, man. Ragu, you know, killing it out here.
I don't know. Okay, let's lock this in here for you. It'd be interesting to see let's just see what if Circa can beat any of these looks. And no, 250 for the Bucs. Okay, so let's lock in. So he's on Bucs minus 143. The best line for the Packers is over at Pinnacle at plus 152. Packers NFC. And then we have plus 260 on the Buccaneers. That's 235 at Pinnacle. Let me just say that plus 260 over at Bet 365. So plus 260 Bucs and FC. Plus lines on both of them. I get it. I absolutely get it. All right, let's keep rolling. We move on to the most interesting game. Bills Chiefs. Last year's AFC final. And a huge game at Arrowhead, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 out west where you are, Ski. Take it away. Can't wait to hear your angle here, Bills Chiefs.
Yeah, this one is, you know, this is a tough game for sure. I will say, first of all, it's the other side of my teaser to the Packers. I teased the Bills up. And I just think, you know, whichever team if the Chiefs were plus 2.5, I'll probably be teasing the Chiefs up. I just think it's a one-score kind of game. I can't really see either team winning by more than a touchdown. So that was my general thinking, and just teasing this one up that it's going to be a close game. As far as anything else, I was already leaning towards betting this game over. Like I'm kind of hinting at, I really trust both offenses. You saw the last meeting get up to 58 points. If Noli, I know Noli's going to try to find 50,000 reasons to bet the under. If he can't even get there with the under, and he's betting the over, that's enough push for me on my lean to go with the over too. So I'll add over 54.5. And like I said, this is the other side of my 6-point teaser.
Okay, well, first off, we got good news there because both you and Noli got a 54, which is a pretty crucial number, for a total perspective. So I like getting you guys under that 54.5. Again, 54 available at Pinnacle right now. So over 54 and not a lot of vig, minus 108 at Pinnacle. And then we have you locking down part of your teaser. What is the number for the second half of your teaser that's going with the Packers pick'em?
I got 8.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I got it up to 8.
Bills plus 8.
Yep, Bills plus 8, Packers at 0.
Ooh, that's a very interesting looking teaser. There we go. Wow. Let's review Ski Profits action, and it's really fun.
Oh,
so
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got one more bet. I almost
yeah,
forgot. And this one, I'm going to shout out to our guy Sharpie, because I can't help but think of Sharpie when I'm looking at this game. It's just, I hear him in my head. If it's a close game, Josh Allen's going to run all over them. That's what he say, right? And they keep raising the prop. It's 47.5. If I'm not mistaken, I think he hit that 4 out of the last 5 games, maybe even all 5 of them. I know he hit it the last time he played the Chiefs. I think he got like closer to 60 yards, a little bit under 60. So I like Josh Allen over, is it 47.5 rush yards in this game?
I don't have it available here at my books. Do you have that in front of you?
I saw it before I took my nap on Bet Online at 47.5.
Okay, cool. So let's lock that in for you at Bet Online. Josh Allen over 47.5 rush yards. And Sharpie will be back for the conference battle. Also on the conference games, there's only 2 games for next Wednesday. We're going to open it up. We're going to have over 10 guys on because it's just going to be real quick. So we're going to have a whole bunch of cappers here for the NFL Pop Hub. Mr. Goetzer says, Kush naps all day, Ski. Great job, Ski. But Ski wakes up real early. Ski wakes up real early, and I respect that. I love that stuff. So I get that. Okay, let's go over Ski's action, and he's got a ton of it. Over 47 minus 107 in Bengals Titans. Titans minus 3.5 minus 101. Titans money line minus 178, and then the Titans to win the AFC at plus 306 and play in the Super Bowl. Packers pick them Bills plus 8 in a minus 110 teaser. Then you have the Bucks money line at minus 143. The Packers to win the NFC at plus 152, and the Bucks to win the NFC at plus 260. And Bills Chiefs, he's got the over 54 at minus 108, and Josh Allen over 47.5 rush yards at minus 110. Ski, my man, thank you for sharing your hard work with us. You can catch Ski Monday through Friday on our NBA Pub Hub at 4 p.m. Eastern. Ski, I miss getting the chance to share the screen with you. Thank you for rolling with us. Any last words for these cappers that are rolling with us, and a lot of them have been with us for 2 hours and 47 minutes? Any last words?
Yeah, respect to everybody in the chat, and it's always great being with you, Jimmy. Respect also to Big Ragu, but I'm coming for your neck, Ragu. I'm coming for you now.
Yeah, he upped the ante. Ragu upped the ante. There's our guy, Ski Profit, class act. And great guy. So let's review all action here. Again, I've done nothing. I wanted to milk every last bit of info from you guys, and that's what I've done here. So I have done nothing at this point, and we'll throw out some action, make some bets here today. I don't want to be negative, but I'm going to need some points in this fourth quarter to go 8-0 tonight. It'd be I think that's my biggest board sweepage in if I get there, it'll be in over a year. So I hope to get there. I'll be watching that game very closely. Okay, let's review all action. Bebsy is on the Titans minus 3.5 at minus 101. He's on the 49ers Packers over 46.5 at -112. He's on the Rams Bucks over 48 at -111. And he's on the Bills money line at +115. Alex Pavone is on the Titans -3.5 -101. He's on the 49ers +6 at -108. The Rams +3 at -118, and the Chiefs -1.5 at -110. Pistol Pete Loshak only made the Titans -3 at -126 official. He'll be tweeting out the player props that he wants in 49ers, Packers, Rams, Bucks, and Bills, Chiefs. Then with Jacksonville Zou, he's on the Titans -3 at -115, the Packers -6 at -103. He's also on the Rams +3 at -118, and the Chiefs -1.5 at -110. Nobody took the Buccaneers on the spread during this show. The Buccaneers on the money line was taken by Ski Profit, but nobody did take the Bucks on the spread. I wonder if Ragu would have made that an official pick. Our guy, Big Ragu, now first place on our top cappers list, and he's dealing with COVID right now. So we're thinking about you, Ragu, and sending you as much love and positive energy as possible to get you through this. Brizzy's on T. Higgins, anytime touchdown +190, and the Packers +3.5, Ram +7.5. That's not really a teaser. He's just alternate lines, and he got -142 on those two spots, and he's going to be tweeting out player props. Noli Knows is on the under 47.5 at -109 in Bengals Titans, and then he shocked the world with the first over he's ever given out on Pub Sports Radio, over 54 -108 Bills Chiefs. And there you have it. There you have it. Thank you guys. A lot of you have rolled with us for the last 2 hours and 49 minutes, and I'm pumped up, man. I'm so pumped up after this giant day, and I'm so pumped up getting the opportunity to cap with you guys. I'm so pumped up that I'm feeling healthier. I'm so pumped up about San Antonio. It feels good to be excited about life because it doesn't always work that way, as we all know, and I'm really excited right now, and you guys are a big part of it. Thank you to my host, Jose Bouquet. Thank you to Jeff Slaughter, who's going to be making this San Antonio trip so incredible, and thank you to all of the cappers in the chat. Ragu's picks are on the screen, says our guy right there. Official picks: Titans under 47, Bro under 247.5 pass yards, 49ers +6, Higbee touchdown +250, and Bills team total over 27. There it is from Big Ragu, the official picks. Exciting. Thank you guys all so much. Crystal, Warren, Jacksonville Zou, Big Ragu, Sammy Calmer, Slats 45, Harold Williams, Drink in Hand back in action, says, give your kids a hug from Uncle Drink. I will. That touched me there. Noli Knows, Mr. Gokster, Dennis Garcia being with us for 3 hours. Same with Sammy and a bunch of you guys. Markel in the house. Steve G says, go Bills. All you guys, thank you for fighting a good fight with us. I'll be back here at 11. Carter's looking for Titty too. He's up and at him. But I'll be back at 11 a.m. with Betting with the Bag. And God damn, am I going to be pumped the fuck up? Am I going to be able to sleep tonight after all this cash? Look, my palms is leaking all this cash coming into my pocket that I need badly. I love you guys. Let's have a giant divisional round, and we will see you for the conference finals. On behalf of all of us at Pub Sports Radio, let's have a giant week and get that motherfucking cash.